AFC Central. Tennessee, a dominating winner at Cleveland as Eddie George ran wild in the snow, 176 yards, and they moved to 12-3 and take command as they have had of the AFC Central. Brian Billick's Ravens are in pursuit, but it looks like they're going to end up as the runner-up in the AFC Central and go to the playoffs as a wild card team. There is Dave McGinnis, the interim head coach of the Cardinals. Reports circulating today that he may be extended for 3 or 4 years as the head coach. I asked Bill Bidwell, the owner of the team, about that. He said, I can't comment on that right now. The kickoff hit downfield by the Ravens, a lateral back, and Marte Jenkins breaks it across the 30 and working his way across the 35-yard line and out to the 38 as Kim Herring finally makes the tackle on a good return for a Ravens finally knock it down after a 25-yard return. And Jake Plummer coming out to quarterback the Arizona Cardinals, playing with a very painful rib injury. Jake the Snake, who played college football here at Arizona State. You see his numbers for the year. Told us yesterday the rib cartilage injury he has, Steve, is so bad he's got to push the cartilage back in.
That's right. He does. If he gets one good shot in his ribs, you'll see him reach to the left side of his chest and push that cartilage right back in.
Plummer throwing on first down, a quick out, and he gets David Boston, the best receiver for the Cardinals, making his 66th catch of the year. And there's a gain of 9 yards on the play as Woodson comes up to make the tackle. Looking at the Arizona Cardinals, Shelton, Joyce, Dishman, Brooks, and Clement across the offensive front. Pittman's been a very good runner. McKinley the fullback. Boston and Sanders the wideouts. Terry Hardy starts at tight end. Second down and less than a yard now for Arizona. Quick timing throw, a long ball downfield. And no penalty markers. They rule that the defensive back, Chris McAllister, was running stride for stride. There was inadvertent bumping as they both went for the football. Looking at the defensive front of the Ravens, Burnett, Adams, Siragusa, and McCrary. Adams heading to the Pro Bowl, as is middle backer Ray Lewis. Bulware and Sharper on either side of him. For his 9th Pro Bowl, the great Rod Woodson voted in again. Starks, McAllister at the corners. And Kim Herring's the other safety along with Woodson. Now it'll be third and less than a yard after the Cardinals tried to hit deep. Pitch back. Pittman looking to turn the corner. He does. And then he's taken down in a tremendous open field tackle by the best middle backer in the game, Ray Lewis.
Yeah, one of the things that happened, the Ravens got up into an old Bears defense where they cover up both guards in the center, and immediately the Cardinals just ran a toss to the weak side, which is something a lot of teams will try to do. But as with a lot of teams, you find out that this Raven team, with the linebackers and Ray Lewis in particular, can run you down all the way to the sidelines.
And there is the Pro Bowl punter, Scott Players, for the Arizona Cardinals, and back deep is Dwayne Starks. The punt hit downfield. Starks coming up on the ball. And it is down to the 16-yard line. There's also a penalty marker down. Jermaine Lewis, the usual punt returner, did not make the trip to Arizona. He is excused from this game for personal reasons not further explained by the team.
You see here, that's Larry Nemmers. The illegal block, and that's one of the things that's a killer.
Illegal use of the hands on the receiving team during the kick. That penalty will be half the distance to the goal from into the kick. First down.
Now that flag came in very, very early as the wide guy on the punt came down on the field. It was thrown in very quickly, and you see there Trent Dilfer comes on for the first time today.
Dilfer building his numbers in his 7th year in the NFL. He's actually younger than the Heisman Trophy winner, Chris Winkie of Florida State. See his completion percentage up to 62%. And on this drive, the Ravens, with Dilfer at quarterback, will start from deep in their own end following the penalty. 1st and 10 from the 8. The tremendous rookie runner, Jamal Lewis, is the lone setback. Lewis breaks it outside and takes it out to the 17-yard line, a gain of almost 10 yards on the play, as safety Pat Tillman brought him down. As we look at the offensive front of the Ravens, the All-Pro Jonathan Ogden, Molitalo at guard, Mitchell at center, Flynn and Swain back in at right tackle, Flynn at right guard. Jamal Lewis, the runner, with Gash, the blocker. Ismail and Johnson, the wideouts. Shannon Sharp, with 58 catches, is a tight end. Second down, less than one. Again, on a cutback run, it is Jamal Lewis, and he takes a hard shot from Thomas Knight, and also on the stop, Rob Fredrickson, but there is a gain of 4 yards and a first down. As we look at the defensive front of the Cardinals, which has been under assault, absolutely assailed by opposing running games. Wadsworth Davis, Tozy, and Simeon Rice. Folston starts at linebacker with McKinnon, and the best defender, Fredrickson. Best defender among the linebackers, Aeneas Williams, the great corner, 6 times a Pro Bowl player. Here is another handoff, and on the beautifully conditioned grass field, Jamal Lewis trying to cut back, loses his footing. It will be second down and long for the Ravens.
And that's unusual. This is a very nice field they're playing on today. It's in perfect condition. Jamal Lewis is the guy that has emerged for the Ravens, and he's been the difference in the offense. A lot of people focused on Trent Dilfer taking over for Brian Billick's offense over Tony Banks, but I think the emergence of Jamal Lewis has been the biggest factor in the emergence of this offense for the Ravens.
Well, there isn't a better back, I don't think, Steve, in the league right now. 746 yards rushing in the last 6 games. Here is a long ball thrown downfield and incomplete, as Pat Johnson, the deep threat, goes up for the ball and can't get there. Now we'll take a look at the task at hand.
Well, the thing that's important for the Ravens, they've got a better team. They've gotten better personnel. They've just got to hand the ball to Jamal Lewis and then just continue the defensive dominance. They are scary on that side of the ball. And Arizona, hey, they're looking for next year. Find out what young guys can play and give them a chance to just not worry about anything and turn them loose. See what they can do against one of the best teams in the league.
Some think the best team in the league right now because of the Ravens' great defense. And here is Dilfer on the run, turning outside. And Dilfer turns the corner and tightropes the sideline and gets out to the 35-yard line, gains 9 yards and gets a first down.
Well, he's not going to make a living doing that, Don, but every once in a while Trent Dilfer cuts loose and breaks that. That's not something you see him do very much. He turned the corner there. That was a very nice run, especially given the fact that Trent Dilfer is not that kind of player.
No, he's not, but he had to do it, and he did it.
Yeah, Brian Billick, I think he's liking more and more what Trent Dilfer has brought to this team. He's got the ability to make plays, and you could tell when we spoke to him yesterday, Trent Dilfer really feels like he's got a fresh start in Baltimore.
Yeah, he's a very upbeat, optimistic guy, and who wouldn't be playing on a team like this, but he's been a big part of the success. As the throw is made to the tight end, who gets out close to the 45-yard line for a 10-yard gain on the play, as Ben Coates makes just his 8th catch of the year.
Ben Coates has got almost 500 catches, and I'll bet 480 of them are just like this. That's Ben Coates' routes. They should name it after him. He caught the ball in New England from Drew Bledsoe like that, and you see why he's successful. He catches the ball, turns around, and 3 guys had better get there to tackle him or he's going to go.
He's been a very good blocker, hasn't caught a lot of balls, as mentioned, just his 8th catch. Ravens drive on. You'll recall this drive started after the penalty at their 8. Dilfer near side swing throw. And Jamal Lewis takes on tacklers. As the Cardinals are playing very aggressively. The Cardinals, Steve, all talk about how much they like Dave McGinnis as a head coach, but they don't seem to be playing like it in the recent weeks. They're on a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah, you hear everybody, even front office people. I spoke to Bob Ferguson, the general manager. He likes Dave McGinnis as well. There's been a lot of speculation about whether he will sign a long-term deal. It's been reported that he has, or has at least reached an agreement. Nobody has confirmed that here in Arizona, but they all like him. The players want him to be the head coach, but the only way for that to happen is for them to step up and play.
Right now they're running around playing hard, but the Ravens are a better team with their offense, and this is the great Jamal Lewis, the rookie runner, now over 1,200 yards rushing in this his rookie season. Rice and Fredrickson were on the stop. Here is the quote from the agent of McGinnis, Dan Moore. He said, "We are close to having a contract extension for more than 3 years. And I would think it would be done by tomorrow night. They've been great to us during the negotiation. As I mentioned, when I talked to Bill Bidwell, the owner of the Cardinals, and asked him if McGinnis was going to be renewed, extended, he said, I can't confirm that. He certainly didn't deny it. Dropping to throw is Dilfer. Up the middle, off throw, and nicely done to Shannon Sharp on the run. And Sharp is down close to the 22-yard line. A 20-yard gain on the play and a first down for the Ravens.
Well, they throw it to Ben Coates, and then they turn around and throw it to Shannon Sharp. These are two tight ends that are great. Shannon Sharp has the ability to play inside like a wide receiver. He's very nifty, very gifted. And in fact, when he first came out of college, before all those great years in Denver, you know, he was so light, they actually thought about moving him to wide receiver. He's just one of those guys that's an athlete, a great football player, and really has learned to play tight end like nobody ever has before.
And certainly one of the team leaders. He's an invaluable part of the Ravens in the locker room as Priest Holmes gets the carry and is taken down by the free safety Kwame Lassiter. Just a 5-yard gain on the play, but the Ravens methodically moving the ball down the field as they started at their 8, and now on their first drive of the day they're down to the 22-yard line of Arizona. And Brian Billick told us yesterday he's looking for signs of a team that might be a little bit satisfied with all the recent success. He said, I don't see any of those signs. These guys are hungry.
And it's the kind of coach that sneaks into the back of meetings just to check on these guys, and he's been very pleased with their performance.
Good defensive play as Simeon Rice, a multi-million-dollar defensive end who had 1 tackle last week. He makes a stop on Jamal Lewis as we look at Tennessee rolling on in the AFC Central. Kansas City has held serve against Denver now, I think 4 straight times at Kansas City. Detroit upsets the Jets. The Jets in serious trouble from a playoff standpoint, pending their game next week at Baltimore, where I think their chances would be just about nothing at all. If the Ravens have something to play for next week, the Jets can't beat them.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Don.
Here's a throw, and the ball comes in high as Dilfer, strong of arm, tried to go to the man they call Q, Kadri Ismail. It's incomplete. And Aeneas Williams was defending.
That was an impressive drive by Baltimore, even though they're going to have to try and settle for 3 here as Stover comes out. But this is an offense that is really starting to emerge, starting to complement this defense so well. You'll see here's Kadri Ismail working against Aeneas Williams, and Aeneas Williams is going to be on Kadri Ismail the entire game. You know that wherever he is, the other will be.
Here is a 42-yard field goal try, driven up and through by Matt Stover. What else is new? The man is only great. He's now hit 33 of 36 this season. This is Don Criqui with Steve Tasker back at Sun Devil Stadium in the Valley of the Sun. Perfect weather conditions as Matt Stover, who just hit the 42-yard field goal to open the scoring for the Ravens, ready to kick off to number 19, Marte Jenkins. He's dangerous. Marte is averaging 27 yards a kickoff return. He's one of the best. Stover hits the ball downfield from 2 yards deep in the end zone. Here comes Jenkins. An excellent special teams play by the Ravens. Cut him down as he gets to about the 13-yard line. Tackle made by Chris McAllister. There he is, getting ready for his big run. They talked, Steve, about the Ravens playing 5 of their first 7 on the road. The only guy with a tougher road schedule is Santa Claus himself.
Yeah, but he never has a hostile crowd, though.
Well, that served the Ravens well starting out. They started out 5-1 on the year. Here's a throw to the far flank. Michael Pittman turns upfield. A penalty marker is fired in by Nemmers, the referee, and Ray Lewis, who is jet propelled, getting sideline to sideline. A big asset of Lewis, though, is those great tackles in front of him, Adams and Siragusa. You just can't move them, and nobody can get to Lewis to block him.
You're exactly right. That's what having fast linebackers does for you, especially with Tony Siragusa and Sam Adams up front.
Roughing the passer, helmet to helmet, 15 yards added at the end of the run, first down.
And that was late after Jake Plummer.
Log on to NFL.com and vote for what you think were the greatest playoff games of all time. It's all at NFL.com. I was at the Orange Bowl that January day when the one that Sports Illustrated voted the game of the century was played, broadcasting that one when the San Diego Chargers beat the Dolphins in overtime. The Kellen Winslow game, which really a game marked by a lot of mistakes, fumbles, and wild plays. Here is Pittman running the ball after the personal foul call for roughing the quarterback Plummer. As the scoreboard changes, Jim Nance stands by with all the changes at hand. Here we go to the Yorktown to Jim.
And Don, we could be on our way to our first tie of the season. Let's go back to the beautiful weather in Arizona.
Weather here, Jim, is about as good as it gets. 70 degrees and sunny, not a cloud in the sky. As Pittman runs hard. Michael Pittman, a third-year runner out of Fresno State. And there's a loose ball on the field. We'll see if Sam Adams made the first hit on Pittman. And apparently the Cardinals did maintain possession.
Yeah. You didn't see him start to scramble for the loose ball until well after the play was down. And the officials weren't very excited about it, so they were going to call it down by contact anyway. But, Don, we've been talking about this Raven defense and the way they're going to play against this Cardinals. You'll see here, this is number 95. So you'll see there Sam Adams chasing him down. Pittman makes the cut back, and there, that ball might popped out. That was a fumble. And that'll be interesting to see.
That's what the Pro Bowler Sam Adams is also saying, Steve.
Yeah, that ball looked like it was popped out when the runner was halfway down. Sam Adams going to the Pro Bowl this year for this Ravens defense.
That brings up 3rd down and 4 for Jake Plummer. Here comes the rush. Plummer steps in. Good throw as he gets it ahead for a first down out to the 47-yard line. David Boston running down and out. Makes an 8-yard grab for a first down on a 3rd down throw. Ray Lewis on the tackle.
And you see there Jake Plummer. He's not 100%. He got spun to the ground after he delivered this football, and he's limping, but that's really not where he's hurt. Where he's hurt actually is up in his rib cage. That's where they're most concerned about. And the more contact he takes, the more fragile he becomes. And at this late date, he may be 80% ready to play physically, but Dave McGinnis said he's 200% desire to play.
On first down, Jake Plummer fires again. And McAllister comes in right on time. No penalty marker. Fans looking for one. McAllister, a rising star at cornerback, comes into the game with 3 interceptions. He was the #1 pick of the Ravens in '99. Carolina rallying from behind to beat the San Diego Chargers 30-22. We welcome those of you who've been watching that game. Here in the Valley of the Sun, the Baltimore Ravens went on an extended drive, 13 plays, culminating in a 42-yard field goal, and that's the only score so far as they lead the Arizona Cardinals 3-0. Cardinals driving right now with Jake Plummer, ailing ribs and all. Now 3 for 5, throwing the ball for 22 yards. 2nd down and 10, marker down. Plummer throws, beautifully done as he throws an out pattern to Frank Sanders. His 46th catch of the year is good for 14 yards. We'll see if the play goes.
It looked like the defensive end, Rob Burnett, was lined up in the neutral zone.
Defense, number 90, lined up in the neutral zone. Penalty is declined.
It was.
First down.
You know, you'd think if we could see that from up here, Don, why can't they, you know?
Rob Burnett has had a tremendous year.
Yeah, he really has, Don. You're right. And some of the players were very disappointed. This is lined up right there. Some of the players on the team were disappointed when the announcement came out that, you know, they obviously had a great defense and they had a number of players going to the Pro Bowl, but most of the players were very disappointed that Rob didn't get noticed. They felt he deserved it and didn't, and his teammates were very upset about it for him.
Here is Pittman as he on first down runs back only to the line of scrimmage. The Ravens allowed 2.7 yards per rush to the opposition. That's the best in the NFL. Ravens, of course, if they allow 48 points or less in the final 2 games, the way they're playing, they might allow no points or the final 2 games.
This is a team that doesn't allow 48 points in a month.
Well, they will, of course, set an all-time record for fewest points allowed in a 16-game season. The Chicago Bears of 86 have the current record, 187 points.
Interestingly enough, head coach Dave McGinnis was on that staff for Chicago.
He was the linebackers coach. Here's a throw to an open man. Boston bull rushing right at the tackler, Chris McAllister, and the Arizona Cardinals come out looking sharp, and maybe this team is buoyed, Steve, by the news that certainly the speculation that Dave McGinnis, who they like very much, will be back as head coach.
There's no question. David Boston is a guy who's got a lot of ability, but he's going against probably one of the most gifted cornerbacks in the National Football League. Chris McAllister, he's a cornerback, there's no question, but when you see this guy, Chris McAllister is big. He is a big corner, and you don't want to do that if you're a receiver. You're going to be there all day. You better get used to it.
Plummer, near side throw again, a good timing throw as he swings it out to his fullback Dennis McKinley. And McKinley is inside the 25-yard line. The championship drive of the Ravens. Billick comes in as coach. First shutout. Signed Shannon Sharp as a free agent from Denver. Signed Trent Dilfer. Drafted Jamal Lewis with the 5th pick in the last draft in the first round.
And they clinched a playoff.
And Billick really getting the accolades so well deserved as maybe coach of the year. Here's a throw and a connection as Jake Plummer, who's really looking sharp, and so are his receivers. And Terry Hardy fights ahead for an 8-yard gain and a first down.
And it's interesting because this is a very good drive by the Cardinals. And Jake told us yesterday, he says, you know, we feel we can move the ball on, but where we have struggled is when we get down close. You'll see here, Plummer just getting back, getting rid of the ball on time. It's so extremely important against this defense. Don't make Jake Plummer stand there and hold the ball. Give him a place to throw it. But now they're in the area of the field where they have struggled, inside the 20-yard line. That's the 11th play of the drive.
Ravens with their best offensive look in some weeks, maybe. Here's another throw, another connection. As Jake Plummer, who came in and people talked about he didn't have a strong arm. Well, Bob Ferguson, the GM, says we found out he's got a real strong arm. It certainly wasn't evidence there. That was a fastball.
That's exactly right. And if he doesn't have a strong arm, all you can say is it's strong enough. As Cody has all kinds of trouble just pulling that in. That ball is there in a heartbeat. And you really don't have to have a strong arm, Don, if you get rid of the ball on time. A lot of quarterbacks and offenses are finding that out.
The snake is sharp. 8 for 10 for 64 yards throwing the ball. Back to the run, and Pittman takes it at the Ravens, and a penalty marker is thrown down at the line of scrimmage. After a gain of about only a yard, Rod Woodson came up from safety to make the tackle.
Well, somebody lost a helmet down in there. That's not good. As long as it's empty, it's okay, though.
Yeah.
But this is the point of the field where, you know, you talk to all these coaches and offensive coordinators. And right there, that's, yeah, Michael Pittman's.
There was an illegal formation on the play. Number 70 was the man on the end of the line of scrimmage. That penalty is declined.
Baltimore recovered, first down.
So there was a fumble on the play by Michael Pittman, who's still on the field. And the Ravens have the ball. Now the big question is, can Arizona stay in the game and come back from this disappointment? Don Criqui with Steve Tasker back at Sun Devil Stadium. This Raven defense, which hits like bazookas, put a knockout hit on running back Michael Pittman of the Arizona Cardinals. As the Cardinals were driving, he's still down on the field.
You'll see there as he comes in, that's Woodson, number 26, and then from the inside, and there's the football popping out, and that's the fumble, but Pittman has not moved.
Ravens lead the Cardinals 3-0. Fortunately, Michael Pittman, who was hit with that knockout tackle that forced a fumble and a turnover, is up, but still dazed, as you see, and Michael was on the field for a full 4 minutes. And now the Ravens go on offense for a second time. A marker's thrown. Came before the snap of the ball. It'd be illegal motion against the Baltimore Ravens.
Prior to the snap, false start offense, number 75. Half the distance to the goal, still first down.
Jonathan Ogden, the all-pro tackle, moved a bit early.
Well, the one thing that the Ravens have had to battle already in this game has been field position. Both their possessions have started inside their 10, and now this possession inside their 5. However, their defense has gotten them the ball back, held the Cardinals, and got the turnover to give them this position.
That fumble recovery was the 22nd for the Raven defense, most in the NFL. As Jamal Lewis runs, and the Cardinals have really given up a lot of running yardage in the recent weeks in this 5-game losing streak, have tightened up now. Rob Fredrickson, who they really extol as probably their best defensive player, along with the safety Pat Tillman, filled the gap, made the stop.
Yeah, we talked to the guy, Dave McGinnis, and he said one of the places we have to improve for next year is the interior of both of our lines, offensive and defensive. They've got to get some big guys over the center and guards of an offense to give them a stable force inside.
Dilfer throws from his end zone and hits Jamal Lewis. who is thrown back at the 15-yard line. He's going to be 1.5 yards short of a first down, and that'll do it for the first quarter of play. That's the end of the first quarter with the score. The Ravens 3, the Cardinals nothing. We'll return to Tempe after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. We're back to Sun Devil Stadium where the Baltimore Ravens, a team that in the last 14 games has 4 shutouts, and in 5 other games in that 14-game span has allowed just 1 touchdown. So if you score on these guys, 6-pointer, you're having a good day. Good throw by Dilfer, moving on the run, and Dilfer guns the ball out and makes the connection out ahead to about the 15-yard line. It'll be about an 8-yard gain on the play. Don Criqui with Steve Tasker. Interesting to see how the Cardinals will bounce back from this now, Steve. They've not responded to adversity well in the recent weeks.
That's been their problem. In fact, a lot of people have been criticizing because in light of the fact that they say they want to play for that guy, Dave McGinnis, they've not acted like it. And that's one of the things that people have criticized them for, is not stepping up and playing with enthusiasm.
Good defense as they shoot a cornerback. And Jamal Lewis, a rare knockdown of Lewis for no gain as we go back to Jim Nance in New York.
All right, to tidy up a few details here for you, Don. First, New England wins with you guys there in Arizona.
Airport's never closed here, Jim. Steve, you've had some problems getting out of the Buff, haven't you, this winter?
I may not be able to get home.
Here's a throw and a catch over the middle. Shannon Sharp takes the ball out to the 25-yard line. 8-yard gain on the play. No sooner said than we go back to the NFL today in the gym.
All right, Miami off to a real rugged start, and right here Peyton Manning finds an open man. It's Marcus Pollard, and the Colts must-win game for Indianapolis, up 7-0, 4 minutes to go first quarter. Let's go back to Don and Steve.
Thank you, Jim. The plot really thickening as we come down to the wire. It looks like right down to the final day. Maybe the final game before the playoff picture comes into focus completely. Dilfer in trouble, running out of it. Here comes the rush, and Dilfer throwing the ball away very wisely. A veteran move. He's out of the tackle box, could throw it anywhere he liked. That was Seiko Sanyika. Coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report, join Jim, Mike, and Jerry for all the scores and highlights, plus all the latest playoff news. That's all coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Jerry Glanville, Steve, having problems remaining humble, he said. He's so accurate picking these games.
Well, look at the guys he's picking against. Come on.
Jerry can lose 10 pounds by taking that belt off. They kick, the punt hit downfield, and it'll be a fair cut by Matt Cody at the 22-yard line. And the Ravens have it when we come back. Michael Pittman being talked to by his head coach, Dave McGinnis. He'll not return today. Michael Pittman and Thomas Jones, a highly regarded rookie who's not been productive yet. But in fairness to Thomas Jones out of Virginia, he's had a lingering low-grade pneumonia for a month. Take the snake on the run, looking to release the ball. He does, throwing it downfield and incomplete. Still takes his shot. The great views you're seeing of the play on the field are being brought to us today by Monster.com's blimp Skeeter. Monster.com operates 2 blimps in the U.S. The blimp we have today is 130 feet long, 40 feet tall, and when empty, weighs over 2,700 pounds. And it's about 2 feet in elevation above where we're located in this press box.
That's right.
This is the world's highest press box.
It really is. We're a long way from the action.
For some up here, the game is a rumor. Here is a throw downfield as Jake the Snake throwing into coverage. This the talent on this defense is just unbelievable. And everywhere you look, there's a guy that could be in the Pro Bowl.
You're exactly right. And that guy right there, I'll tell you, Michael Pittman, he was knocked actually unconscious. We found out subsequent to that. He was out for a little bit on the field, and he's not going to come back today. And that's a testament to how vicious this defense is. Michael Pittman running the ball down in the red zone, one place where you'd like to run the ball when you want to run it. But Ray Lewis and his friends taking their toll on the Cardinals roster already today.
Looked like the Cardinals are going to take the ball in on that extended drive and take the lead. Then the fumble. Here's a go throw downfield as Plummer is nailed just as he releases the ball. They came with a blitz. He was shooting at David Boston. McAllister covering on the play, and so it's 4th down arising, 4th and 10 for the Arizona Cardinals.
And then Ray Lewis is a guy, the thing that sets him apart, well, there's so many things. He's so fast coming from the middle. You see there right up the middle, untouched. And Jake Plummer, that's the last thing he wants to do with a sore set of ribs is have Ray Lewis pound on them all afternoon, but it started early here today.
The punt, hit downfield. And Starks comes up on it from the 33-yard line. Starks finds a gap, and then he's cut down on a good open field tackle at the 43-yard line. So the Ravens continue to lead the game 3-0. The playoff picture, you see the 4 teams that are assured postseason: Tennessee, Oakland, Baltimore, and Denver. Miami currently trailing the Colts 7-0 in Florida. And the Jets in a swoon, 9-6, and heading to Baltimore next week. It's not a happy scenario for the Jets and their faithful.
You're exactly right, Don. It's going to shake out, and that Indianapolis and Miami game becomes huge for Indianapolis to climb back into the playoff picture.
One of the reasons, Steve, the Ravens, you have to look at them as a very viable team to win the Super Bowl, is because defense travels.
You're exactly right, Don. Brian Billick's got a team that will play very well on the road in the playoffs because a defense doesn't really care about home field. They can travel. The crowd won't bother them as much as it would if you had an offense that your team leaned on. But this team is going to travel very well in the playoffs.
And if the Ravens win today, they will be 6-2 on the road. And here is a sack as Dilfer waits, and then coming in from the cornerback position on a blitz is Thomas Knight, the former #1 pick out of Iowa.
You see Trent Dilfer, this is good pressure. They bring the right off Knight off the corner. Dilfer knows he's got to get rid of it. If he's not going to, it's a smart play. Buckle up, take your lumps, and make sure you have the ball. That's only the 20th sack by the Cardinals this year. That's the lowest total in the National Football League.
But it was a big one. It brings up now 3rd down and about 16. Here's another big rush. Dilfer takes a look, and they get him again. As Mark Smith, I don't know what McGinnis said in the locker room, Steve, but maybe they ought to get it on tape and sell the copy.
Yeah, bottle it and give it to these guys every week, because all of a sudden their defense is playing extremely well. Baltimore, after that, have lost 13 more yards, and you've got to say, this is an offense of Baltimore. They just want to move the football, keep their defense off the field, and make some first downs. Well, right now, they keep having to give Jake Plummer the football back, and that's going to cost them late in this ball game. You can't give your opponent the ball and expect to win.
Matt Cody standing back to get the ball. He's backpedaling now. The ball well hit by Richardson down to the 20. Here comes Cody. He is to the 29-yard line. And there, the Cardinals will go on offense. 52-yard punt and a 9-yard return. Still stands. Ravens on the 42-yard field goal by Stover leading, but look at Dave McGinnis after that defensive stop over there saluting his defense. It certainly looks like a guy, Steve, is going to be back coaching next year, not a guy on his way out.
You're exactly right. He's got a lot to look forward to by the actions you saw there.
Thomas Jones gets the carry, the rookie runner. He was picked 7th overall in the last draft. Jamal Lewis of the Ravens was picked number 5 in the first round. Wednesday getting hit a lot today. 2nd down and 6. Plummer, a timing throw. He's got a guy, and the ball is knocked free on a tremendous hit. But penalty markers come in.
Yeah.
David Boston had the ball on a beautifully thrown pitch by Jake Plummer, but we'll see now if the call is against the Ravens defense.
It's got to be against the Ravens. The guy led with his forearm. Oh, they're calling interference. I thought it might have been unnecessary roughness.
Defensive pass interference. Defensive pass interference. Number 22, automatic first down.
Dwayne Starks.
Dwayne Starks did not look back at the ball coming in. You'll see here he'll be all over David Boston as the ball gets there, and that's okay if he's looking for the ball or playing the ball, but he's not. You see there, he jumps into Boston's body, and that's That's interference right there as Rod Woodson comes in and cleans up on the tackle. Watch this. And David Boston, bang, pays the price even though they got the penalty. You know you got a good defense when you've got one of the best cornerbacks ever to play the game playing free safety, and Rod Woodson.
Well, it was a 19-yard gain, though, for the Cardinals on that penalty. Here's Plummer, still on his feet. Jake Plummer dives back to the original line of scrimmage, took a couple of hits, and made a heroic dive just to get back to the line of scrimmage and make it 2nd down and 10. Rob Burnett was the man who got him down.
You watch here, this is why Jake Plummer is such a crafty guy. Watch when he gets in there, there's pressure all over. He has to duck immediately to avoid Sam Adams. Then he's just looking for a place to get down. You know, in this condition that he's in, he's not going to try and make too much happen with his legs. He's just looking for somewhere to dump the ball and has no chance to do it.
Some scouts say, Steve, that Plummer sets up quicker than any quarterback in the league, and here nearly as a pick as Ray Lewis. He saw an open road to the end zone and was able to get that ball that was up in the air, tipped by the intended receiver, Thomas Jones.
Well, you saw just a moment ago Ray Lewis and Sam Adams getting a lot of pressure on Jake Plummer. Then all of a sudden the Cardinals say, okay, let's run a screen pass to use that aggressiveness against that defense. But the thing about Ray Lewis and this defense is, yeah, they're aggressive, they're enthusiastic, they've got a lot of talent, but the thing is, too, they're smart. They read keys, they don't get beat mentally, and that's why this is a great defense. Not only is it gifted, it's smart and disciplined.
Plummer now 8 for 14 throwing the ball, but he's missed his last 4 throws. Passing yardage 66. Here is Plummer on the run again. Throwing downfield, he's got an open man. The ball is caught inside the 35 and down to the 30. And Frankie Sanders, a 6th-year receiver out of Auburn, makes the play for an 18-yard gain and an Arizona Cardinal 1st down.
Well, that's just Jake Plummer making a play, finding Frank Sanders down the field. And this is vintage Jake Plummer. He just comes out, rolls out. It's not a designed rollout. And Frank Sanders, when you as a receiver, you know when your quarterback is this type of quarterback, you know you have certain things you want to do when he breaks contain. One is turn the same direction your quarterback is. If he rolls it right, you go back to that side of the field, and that's exactly what happened.
Exactly what happened for an 18-yard gain, and now Thomas Jones weaves his way straight ahead. Jones, in 4 years at Virginia, was never out of the lineup with an injury and left Virginia with 2 degrees. Tonight on 60 Minutes, if you love the people Tom Hanks plays in the movies, wait to see him playing himself, an early Christmas present from 60 Minutes tonight.
Once again, I'm sorry, Don. Once again, we see the Cardinals having a good drive, putting a lot of plays together and having some success against this defense.
Yeah, they had the other sustained drive, and then the knockout hit on runner Michael Pittman resulted in a fumble. And the drive was stopped, ball turned over, and now it will be 3rd down and 8. Jake Plummer has been troubled by injuries the last 2 seasons. As faulty plumbing, well, the interceptions, a lot of them last year result of a very, very badly bruised hand. An injured thumb hampered him all season long.
Injuries are always a problem with Jake because he is so mobile. He doesn't try to do a lot of things with the ball in his hands, and anytime you have a quarterback that keeps the ball in his hands and is trying to do things, he draws a lot of violence. Jake Plummer takes a lot of hits because of it, and it shows in his passing statistics because of that.
David Boston could be a guy to watch here. He's the 2nd receiver up in the bottom of your screen. Here's Plummer taking a look, and he has nowhere to go as the rush was on. And it's incomplete, and that brings up 4th down. Ravens have 32 sacks. Their opposition has 35. That's the one area of a great defense where they're not dominating. But
watch here as Jake Plummer throws right over the middle. You'll see there, 45, Corey Harris hits the receiver. And to me, I think that's pass interference. Watch it bang. That's why the receiver can't catch the ball, is because he got knocked off by Corey Harris. And to me, I think that's blatant pass interference, and none of the officials threw the ball, threw the flag.
46-yard field goal try now by the former All-Pro Kerry Blanchard. He hits a line drive that's no good. Blanchard was the All-Pro kicker in 1996 when he played for the Colts in Indianapolis. He is 2 for 4 for 50 plus. That was a 46-yarder, so the Cardinals come up short again. With Steve Tasker, this is Don Criqui back at Sun Devil Stadium. The favorite Ravens on a 5-game win streak, coming in with a 10-4 record, holding to a 3-0 lead. Midway through the second quarter, handoff. Jamal Lewis is taken down. Mark Smith, who will be a free agent after this season, makes the stop.
One of the things about this team, Don, they've got that great defense, and what's it do for them? Anytime this season when they have managed to score one touchdown, they've won. The only games they've lost are when they've had to settle for only field goals and not score more than a touchdown or a field goal. That's a great asset for a head coach when if you can score once, you win.
Sure is. The Ravens, despite their terrific record, this trip has not been without bumps in the road. They went 21 straight quarters, you remember, without a touchdown. Here's a fastball thrown downfield, incomplete. Good throw by Dilfer, right on target.
That was a sensational throw by Trent Dilfer. That was through traffic, through the linebackers, and he put that on the money. And Shannon Sharp.
Defense, offside, number 93. 5-yard penalty.
Mark
Still
Smith
second down.
offside.
Yeah, I don't think Shannon Sharp believed that ball was going to make it through the traffic. Watch here. You see there's the jump right there over number 64, Edwin Mulatalo. Watch this throw right through the hands.
Yeah. Brings up second down and 4. Here's the blitz. They pick it up. Jamal Lewis runs, and he's trouble now. Jamal Lewis in the open field, the rookie from Tennessee. Breaks it inside the 35-yard line and down to the 33. A 21-yard gain on the play.
Yeah, in the first 8 games, I remember he started this season, Jamal Lewis, with a dislocated elbow, so he wasn't himself for a long time. And then when he finally got healthy, he doubled his yards per game, and this is the last 6 games. This guy has been a force for the Ravens, and this is a year when the Ravens have struggled at their quarterback position, and for a rookie to come in and make the kind of impact he's had to make, man, that says something about this offense and where this guy's headed.
He's an impact runner, Jamal Lewis. He delivers a hit on tacklers, except for that elbow on July 28th, so he was hampered early on, but now he is among the elite runners in the NFL, and this is rookie season as Dilfer tries to go to Brandon Stokely. Incomplete, second down and 10. Pat Tillman covering on the play.
The thing about this offense is, especially with Jamal Lewis in there in the game, is we've seen it a couple of times, especially in their last series where they got sacked a couple of times, but this is a team that gets into 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. They rarely ever have to go 3rd and 13. Now, they've done it once or twice in this game, but this is a team that gets down in 3rd and short, and that really is an asset, never puts them in a bad position.
Listen to it now. A second down and 10 inside the 35-yard line. Dilfer with a deep drop. They get him, and Dilfer is sacked again back at the 44-yard line. The 3rd sack by the Card defense, which had the lowest sack total of any defense in the NFL coming into this game.
You know, I think
Mark Smith.
I think Trent Dilfer wanted Jamal Lewis to step out just a little quicker than he did. You see there, he wants to throw it and sees the pressure right there. Jamal Lewis hesitated to look for a guy to block. There was nobody there. Then he got out, and Trent Dilfer, by that time it was too late, and there you see Mark Smith having a good day already.
Well, he's not had a lot of good days this season, but he's really rising up today. He's had some terrific seasons for the Cardinals. Here's a throw and a catch by Shannon Sharp, who's down to the 38-yard line, but well short of the first down. Monday on CBS, a night of Christmas comedy begins with The King of Queens, followed by the new comedy hit Yes Dear. Then don't miss everybody's #1 comedy, Everybody Loves Raymond, followed by Becker starring Ted Danson, and Monday's #1 drama, Family Law. It's all here Monday on CBS. Pat Tillman making that last tackle as Kyle Richardson comes in to punt. Shannon Sharp caught a ball. Told Leslie Visser on the NFL Today that he showers before the game. I guess it's less crowded than Steve. Here's a hit, and the ball takes a bounce back at the Ravens, and it's down to the 16-yard line. So the Cardinals going offense, trailing in the game 3-0. That early field goal by Matt Stover from 42 yards out. The only points on the board so far at Sun Devil Stadium. 3-0 Ravens. Arizona's moved the ball. But then a fumble down close to Ravens goal line cost them a possible go-ahead touchdown. And now they go to the run. Here's Thomas Jones. And Jones, with a burst of speed, takes it out to the 28-yard line. He gained 12 yards on the play. As we check the Sunday stories, a very important one being written at the Superdome in New Orleans and also at Cleveland, where the great Eddie George ran 176 yards in the snow.
And Steve McNair continues to be efficient and exactly what that offense needs, but Eddie George makes it go. And then, of course, Curtis Martin struggling in the Jets game today. 16 attempts for only 51 yards.
Now penalty markers fired in as the ball carriers tackled in the backfield. Thomas Jones.
Number 65, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And as the Sunday stories continue, there's Gus Frerotte and Rod Smith. Gus Frerotte playing very well in Brian Griese's absence, but not enough today. As Brett Favre in Minnesota throwing for 3 touchdowns. Green Bay just won't go away. And I'll tell you what, Don, right there, the New Orleans Saints, I think that guy, Jim Haslett, should be coach of the year.
A pick, and it'll go back. Dwayne Starks running it inside the 10, inside the 5, and down to the at the 4-yard line. Yeah, great play of Aaron Brooks, also rising star quarterback for the Saints. And now Brian Billick's #1 defense strikes with a 27-yard interception return.
This is just a cornerback doing what he does best. Gambling, making a play right there. Starks was all over that route. Wouldn't go anything. He did not believe they were going deep. Didn't backpedal. Let him break down the cushion. Watch there. He just stands there and just breaks before the receiver does. And the receiver, Martae Jenkins, just stands there waiting for the ball. Dwayne Starks goes to the ball and makes the pick.
The 4th interception of the year for Dwayne Starks. Now the Ravens first and goal at the 5, just inside it. Handoff. And Lewis gets down close to the 3-yard line where he's cut down. Jamal Lewis has averaged over 28 carries a game over the last 4 games. He's been the go-to guy, the 235-pound rookie from Tennessee.
You talked to Brian Billick yesterday, and in the red area, all these coaches say, we want to run it. But Brian Billick says, yeah, you want to run it, but you only want to run it when you want to run it. And with that guy, Jamal Lewis, they've been able to do that. When they've needed a tough yard or two, he's always been able to get it.
He's averaging 4.6 a carry for the season. Here he is again, and there's not much there. As the Cardinals do a good job filling the gaps. Dave McGinnis cheering his team on, the guy who's rumored to be ready to sign perhaps a 4-year extension as head coach, the full-time head coach. He's on an interim basis right now since Vince Tobin was fired. But his defense has played well. That was a big offensive mistake. An equally fine defensive play by the Ravens that got that interception. Now has them in position to go up 10-0 if they can take it in and hit the point. 3rd down. Dilfer takes a look, throws, intercepted. Hey, he should have stayed in the end zone.
He should have stayed in the end zone. He came out of the end zone, and now it's going to be Cardinals ball on their own foot line.
Pat Tillman picked it off. Hey, listen, you can't fall to play like that, though.
Yeah, oh, it kept him out of the end zone. They can't score now unless they get maybe a safety on the center snap. You'll watch here, Trent Dilfer. Pat Tillman just breaks in. That's a bad throw out to the side. You see there, Pat Tillman should have just fallen down in the end zone. Instead, he gets tackled on the 1-foot line, and you see as Brian Billick and there Dave McGinnis, they trade interceptions here late in the 2nd quarter. And that saves sure points for the Cardinals.
Now what do? You drop back and try to...
No way.
You're not going to run, I'll tell you that.
You're 15 seconds away from the 2-minute warning. You want to get this ball away, as far as away from the goal line as you can. Don't let them get points out of this drive. You can still...
Well, the I-back's lining up 8 yards deep, so it's going to be tough to get to the line of scrimmage against this defense if they go to the I-back. They do. And a good burst of speed by Thomas Jones gets the ball to
the
line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they didn't get back to the line of scrimmage, Don. You called it. That's way too slow a play to develop to get the ball out of that end zone. You want to maybe hand it to the fullback, and Baltimore takes a timeout here.
But the Cardinals are still in it. Trent Dilfer of the Ravens just was intercepted for the 9th time this year. He's thrown 11 touchdown passes, came in with a quarterback rating of almost 87, so he's been effective, but not on that throw.
You're right, Don. And that's the one thing he can't do. He cannot put his team in that position. They had surefire points. They've got a Pro Bowl place kicker, at least come away with 3. But with that throw, he may have just squandered an opportunity that may come back to haunt them later in this game. You don't want to let a team like the Cardinals hang around on the road.
Right now, the Cardinals need to get out of jail. They go back to, I tell you run straight ahead of these guys here. There's nowhere to go. The key to the Ravens defense, above all else, is Sam Adams and Tony Siragusa, because they're immovable stumps in the middle. You can't run straight ahead. Well, the heat's on the Arizona Cardinals offense as they have the ball. 3rd down and 10 at their 1-yard line. Faced with trying to move out for enough room to punt the ball against the #1 defense from a scoring standpoint in all probability in NFL history. And I know, Steve, when they go right at the Ravens straight ahead, you might as well burn it down because you're not going to get anything.
Yeah, you can't even imagine how tough it is to run against them for one reason, or for 2 reasons, actually. It's Tony Siragusa and Sam Adams. It's like trying to run at 2 fire hydrants. I mean, you can't push them. They don't move. And watch what happens. This is the play coming out of the end zone. Look at these guys. Siragusa, you can't move him. Sam Adams is in the end zone. And then Ray Lewis comes in untouched and smacks the running back. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to work for a defense. Your defensive linemen just hold their ground, soak up a couple of blockers, and your linebackers just fly around and knock people around. Man, this is a defense that you do not want to be inside your own 1-yard line trying to come out.
Ray Lewis, he's unblockable. He gets low. He's behind those 330-pound defensive tackles. You can't get a body on him. He is unblockable, and he's so fast. As soon as the runner commits, he's on him.
That's exactly right. And it's, you know, Ray Lewis has got a lot of ability, but he's on a defense that is designed to let him run to the football. I mean, let's face it. This is a guy that you know, makes almost 200 tackles a year in the National Football League.
Heading to his 4th straight Pro Bowl. They're down. I think you got to throw. 3-step drop and do something. There it is. Plummer rolling out. Fires downfield. He gets his tight end. Penalty markers down at the line of scrimmage, but if the play goes, his tight end, Chris Gedney, went up and got the ball for a major gain, but they're going to wave it off.
Yeah, he came down out of bounds, but it was a great effort by Gedney. He's not going to be able to get up. He's coming up limping. There's a hold against the defense, and that'll give
automatic first down.
Yeah, that'll give the Cardinals some breathing room. And
Holding on the defensive team, number 51. That's a 5-yard penalty, an automatic first down.
Now they may be able to get to halftime without anything bad happening. Cornell Brown got caught holding down the field. You'll see right here, grabbing hold of David Boston, not letting him get loose. Actually, not David Boston. That was Dennis McKinley. And there you see the catch. He finally pulls it in, but can't get that second foot in. Great effort.
So the ball is now positioned at the 6-yard line. Defensive holding, automatic first down. Cardinals drive, stays alive. Plummer takes a look, lofts the ball. He's got an open man, and the ball is caught. Foot races on, and finally caught from behind, but all the way down to the 38-yard line is David Boston, one of the great young receivers in the game, as the play is good for 56 yards, and the Cardinals do indeed get out of jail and almost hit it for the distance.
Well, we've watched it the whole game. Chris McAllister and David Boston have been jawing at each other the entire game. Watch this as David Boston, bang, big hook move, and then McAllister bites on it, and David Boston catches the ball. Jake Plummer, great throw, and that, you know, that's just going to stoke fuel to this rivalry these two guys have got going on.
His head was on a swivel looking for the defensive back, who finally got him down 56 yards later. Still 3-0, and the Cardinals, who not that long ago had it 3rd and 10 on their 1-yard line, all of a sudden find themselves maybe in a position to go ahead in this game if they can keep the drive going.
This is the Baltimore Raven defense that would love to get another shutout to tie the record for not letting a team score on them in a season for the 5th game. And every guy on defense, none of them want to be the guy that gives up a touchdown. Chris McAllister is the same way. He doesn't want to be the guy to get beat.
They got beat for 56 yards in that throw. Here's the snake on the run. Burnett's after him, a throw, and it's off the hands of his fullback, McKinley, as he crashes into a bench over there. Coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report, join Jim, Mike, and Jerry for all the scores and highlights, plus all the latest playoff news. That's all coming up on the NASDAQ.com halftime report.
We spoke a moment ago, and you could tell, it's become a point of personal pride with every player on the defense for the Ravens, this record, this quest that they have of being one of the greatest defenses ever. But we spoke to Brian Billick yesterday, and he keeps telling them, you guys, it won't mean a thing unless you win a championship.
Yeah, that's what Buddy Ryan said about the great Bears defense. He said, we won a championship. Other than that, you're just an asterisk with a good defense unless you win a title. Well, we have a moment. We want to extend our very best regards, everyone in both football organizations, everyone at CBS, to the great writer John Stedman, the longtime columnist for the Baltimore Sun, who was unable to make his first Baltimore football road game since the early 1950s. Nobody's chronicled pro football in the city of Baltimore better than John Stedman, and we wish John our very best.
We really do. That is an incredible record. We wish him our best, and hey, I wish he was here.
He missed last week's game. It was the first time in 719 pro football games in Baltimore that John Stedman missed a game. Hospitalized in Baltimore as the throw off the flank goes for 10 yards to Frankie Sanders. And the confidence is building, Steve, in this Cardinal team.
It is, but Frankie Sanders may have lost the first down trying to make something happen. Watch here. He'll catch the ball on the slant. He's got the first down. Then he drops back and gets tackled just outside the 28-yard line, and they needed to get to the 28 to get the first down. So they're going to measure this to see if he got it. This is crucial because it was third down, and it may force them to go for the field goal.
That last long field goal try, the 46-yarder.
They're an inch short. Yep, he lost the first down, Don.
You got to go for it.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not gonna. I guess they are.
Yeah,
They're
they
sending
are.
in a power package.
Here they go.
Extra tight ends.
Dennis McKinley comes in, the fullback. They're sitting in the extra tight end.
Hardy and Gedney in at tight ends, double tight ends. Fourth, and as you saw, just inches as the ball's positioned near the Ravens' 28-yard line.
This is, let's face it, though, this Ravens defense prides itself on just this type of situation. This is a great moment for the Cardinal offense if they can pull it off.
Quarterback sneak, that's what it is, and the snake looks to have it. The linesmen come in, and Chris Dishman at center got low. Ravens don't think he got there, but what they think makes little matter depending on what the striped shirts say. It looks like it might be a measurement.
It looks as though, they'll usually give that to a quarterback. I mean, he only needed 2 inches. I don't know. That's not a very good spot for the Cardinals. It almost looks identical. Maybe even they lost a few inches.
He got it by the nose of the ball. Yeah, that isn't that good a spot. Looked like
he might be able to slip a piece of paper in between the ball and the chains. There's no way. Didn't get it.
Ravens take over the ball as McGinnis sees yet another disappointment. But his team is hanging in, and you get the feeling they're not going to go away.
Look at the surge here. The offensive line comes off, but the defense goes over the top and around. Sam Adams, at over 300 pounds, slips the block of the guard and won't let Jake get the first down. And Dave McGinnis knows what an important down that was.
So with 48 seconds left to play in the first half, to the run go the Baltimore Ravens, and to Priest Holmes, the fourth year back from Texas, who breaks it for a 10-yard gain and a first down for Baltimore, and Ravens call a timeout.
That's an excellent play calling right there. You know Jamal Lewis is going to be able to get some good runs. And
it's been 23 years since a Baltimore NFL team has made the playoffs. 1977, Burt Jones was the quarterback. Jimmy Carter was the president. The lights went out in New York City. The top TV shows. The survey says And Annie Hall won the Academy Award for Best Picture, but the Colts' hopes were dashed, losing in 2 overtimes to the hated Raiders, 37-31.
Yeah, interestingly enough, right there as Burt Jones walked off, Terry Robisky was the guy patting him on the back of the head.
Terry's not getting a lot of pats today. This team has not responded well. A very good coach. Who's the interim head coach right now, the Redskins, but 0-2 in that position. Here's a tip ball is dropping to throw. Here's the quarterback, Trent Dilfer, and Andre Wadsworth got in his face.
Yeah, now the clock is going to stop for 10 seconds here while the Ravens regroup, and then they've got a 2-minute drill right to go ahead with 36 seconds left. Watch as Dilfer steps up just to get to go. It looks as though he's trying to pull the string on it, and it just comes out of his hand. He didn't really want to throw it, and yet the ball comes out as an incomplete pass. I'm surprised at the pressure that the Cardinals have been able to get on the Ravens quarterback. Trent Dilfer's been knocked around, and this is not a defense that has gotten a lot of sacks this year.
Well, they've sacked him 3 times today as they go back to the run, the power run. Dilfer just 7 for 13 throwing the ball for only 57 yards and 1 interception. The 3 points on the 42-yard field goal by Stover off the opening 13-play drive, the only points of this game so far. In a very evenly played game, the 2 turnovers by the Cardinals have cost them. And then, of course, they were short on the 4th down try. Saturday, heat up the holiday with a special edition of the NFL on CBS featuring Fred Taylor and the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on Kerry Collins and the New York Giants. It all begins with Jim, Randy, Greg, Cherry, Mike, and Marcus on an expanded edition of the NFL Today at a special time. Ryan Billick, a man signed to a 6-year contract. Here's a guy who had the #1 scoring team in NFL history as offensive coordinator with the Vikings in '98. Now he is on the verge of having the #1 scoring defense in the history of the league. We asked him how they do if they played, and he said it'd be a heck of a game. I don't think we could run on our defense, though. I don't think Robert Smith or the Vikings can run on our defense. It would depend on Moss and Carter catching the ball. I think he kind of liked the Ravens to win the game.
I think he did. You get that idea that he did. I asked him if he thought this Raven defense would shut that Viking offense down. He said, he didn't even hesitate. He said, oh, no way. No way. But that's a guy that has been around some very, very good football teams. And he's also helped a lot of individual players have their best years as players under his tutelage.
No
Brian
question.
Billick.
His track record with quarterbacks is remarkable. Jeff George's best year was under him. The remarkable comeback of Randall Cunningham with the Vikings under him. Now Dilfer, a recycled quarterback, has turned his career around. Here's the punt going down. Out to the goal line. Not signaling a touchback. With just 15 seconds to play in the first half.
What a great play.
The Monster.com blimp Skeeter is providing us with these live aerial shots of the game today. Monster.com operates 2 blimps in the U.S. Skeeter is the name of the red monster on the bottom of the blimp. He is one of Monster's many characters.
I'll tell you what, Don, if I was in a blimp, I don't want to be in the one named Skeeter.
Yeah.
I want to be in the one named Behemoth or
We had Trump up
Big
there in
Nelly.
recent weeks.
Yeah, they have another one named Trump. I want to be in the one with the big name, not Skeeter.
With the Donald at the controls.
That's right.
Well, now you know the Ravens defense is going to be hunting that ball because there's probably only one more snap left in the first half.
Right, but they've got the Cardinals once again inside the 5-yard line.
How about inside the 2?
Oof.
Hadn't been easy. The Cardinals up against it. And they've come so close. The knockout tackle on Michael Pittman looms large in this game that resulted in a fumble and a loss close to their goal line.
They're going to review this as to see whether this ball actually touched the line or if the player who's touching the line, yeah, that's a touchback, Don. That's going to come out to the 20-yard line for the Cardinals because right there you see Billy Davis. When he batted the ball out, the ball did not touch the end zone, but when Billy Davis batted it, his body was over the end line on the ground. He touched the ground in the end zone when he batted the ball. That's a touchback. Watch right here. His legs right there. See that? When he batted it, his feet were in the end zone. That's a touchback. That's going to come out. That's going to come out to the 20-yard line.
Meanwhile, at Miami, the Colts are driving again, leading the Miami Dolphins 14-3 as there's renewed life for the Colts in this playoff race. And the Jets, I mean, they could be over and out depending what they do next week at Baltimore.
You're exactly right. Indianapolis is going to climb right back into the playoff hunt. The Jets have to go to Baltimore with a 9-6 record. I don't know. That's a tough order to go into that, because that's going to be a playoff atmosphere in Baltimore.
And Ravens going home, not getting many points here today. They'll be in ill humor if they're not usually on this defensive side.
That's right. Yeah, and there's so much playoff stuff going on this week. Tennessee's actually the only team that could clinch home field throughout the playoffs this week.
After reviewing the play, the kicking team member was touching the goal line when he batted the ball backwards. Therefore, it's a touchback. Arizona's ball, 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line.
Yeah, and you'll see, and it was exactly the way we saw, and Brian Billick not too upset with that call, but you'll watch right here, Billy Davis coming down as he slides into the end zone and hits it. When he touches it, he's in the end zone, and that's a touchback. As we were saying a minute ago, Don, Baltimore's chasing the Tennessee Titans, and Tennessee's the only team that can clinch home field through the playoffs if Baltimore loses and Miami loses, and they win, which they did.
Jake the Snake drawing boos for downing the ball. That would illustrate to me you've got some fans who are highly unknowledgeable about the game of football. That's all you do in a situation like that. Dave McGinnis, rumored to be heading to a new contract as the head man, takes his team to the locker room down 3-0. We'll send you back to Jim Nantz in New York right after these messages.
Report is sponsored by NASDAQ.com, the information source for the serious investor.
Welcome to the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Let's run through the early finals. The Broncos' 6-game win streak is over, and the Raiders can now win the AFC West if they defeat Carolina next week. Gunther Cunningham now 4-0 all-time against Mike Shanahan, and Richardson's 156 yards, the most by a Kansas City back in 10 years. Tennessee rode the legs of Eddie George, 176 yards, 3 touchdowns, can clinch the division if Baltimore loses to Arizona today. Cleveland closes the season 3-13. Jacksonville falls short at Cincinnati. Neil Rackers wins it as time expired, 27-yard winning field goal. New England in overtime over Buffalo. The Bills have lost 4 straight. It was Vinatieri from 21 yards out with just 21 seconds to play in the overtime. The Jets lose to the Lions. The Jets could have clinched a playoff berth with a win. The Lions stay in the playoff chase. They'll need a little help next week. Not only their win over Chicago, but they'll need some other scenarios. In Green Bay, slim hopes stay alive. Minnesota falls, the Vikings' first home loss of the season, and the Giants gain now NFC home field advantage if they can close with wins over Dallas tonight and Jacksonville next Saturday. Atlanta loses to New Orleans. The Saints' Joe Horn, 7 catches, 116 yards. And the Saints, well, barring a tie tomorrow between the Bucs and the Rams, the Saints will be in the playoffs. The Saints will be, by the way, hosting St. Louis next week. And the Chargers squander a 9-point lead. Carolina, 30 points on only 169 total yards. The Panthers rushing for 11 yards, but it still adds up to a win. They had a big blocked field goal as the Chargers were going for the lead late in the game, and it was run back the other way by Doug Evans for a touchdown. We'll continue in just a moment here on CBS. NASDAQ.com halftime report with only one more week to go in the regular season. Mike Dick and Jerry Glanville are here. Let's see if we can sort through this.
Woo! It's confusing.
A little bit. It is complicated, but you're here to help me. No one officially qualified today in the AFC side, but if Miami wins today, it would win the AFC East because the Jets lost. Jets can still qualify next week if they beat the Ravens. Indianapolis and Pittsburgh still have some hope to qualify for the playoffs. NFC side, Minnesota yielded home field advantage over to the Giants if they can win out. Wow. No one officially qualified, although you could say the Saints did, because they're in unless there's a tie tomorrow night between Tampa Bay and St. Louis. And by the way, the winner of the Rams-Bucs game will also secure a playoff berth. So here we go, Baltimore and Arizona, and who would have expected this just to be 3-0 at halftime? I know you didn't, Jerry.
No, not at all. I can't give you too much information on this one because I got the jam stuck on my card. I was eating a cookie. I can't get Baltimore off that one.
Somebody get some jelly remover for it. Colts over the Dolphins, and it's been all Indianapolis.
It's just dominating. They're dominating.
And the Bears are down 17 to the 49ers. Earlier today, the Raiders took back over control of the AFC West because the Chiefs beat the Broncos.
And the Chiefs tried to give the game away earlier here. Richardson goes for a touchdown. He gains 156 yards in the game. And, I mean, they just dominated the football game.
Most by a Chief back in 10 years since Barry Ward. And how about Eddie George? He was the one-man show for Tennessee.
176 yards most of the time, a toss sweep with 2 backs and 2 tight ends in the game. Here he goes the distance. It was a team with an attitude playing a team with no identity at all.
How about Neil Racker? Sounds like an English butler. Kicks the field goal for the win.
Cincinnati over Jacksonville as time expires.
And they got to stay in Buffalo.
They win, but they lose.
They lose.
Here's Rivers going over the top. He's hit. He fumbles. Hartman recovers. Touchdown for the Lions. Ties up the game. John Hall has a chance to tie the game. Rather, and he gags it.
36 yards would have sent it to overtime. Marcus Allen was there.
Did everything you guys possibly could to stay in the game, and you won it at the end.
Yes, that was something that we knew was going to be tough coming in here, especially facing the weather conditions that we did. And, you know, we hung in there as a team and found a way to win in the fourth quarter when we needed it.
And physically, how do you feel?
Right now, I'm all right. I mean, you know, it definitely feels good after a win.
Lions still have some playoff hopes. And meanwhile, it was Amon Green and Brett Favre starring for the Packers.
Oh, our 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions. He had a back helping him a little bit. Amon Green running that football.
Congratulations, big win for you today. You snapped the Vikings home 13-game win streak.
Hey, it's been something. You know, all records are meant to be broke, but coming in here ain't no easy task. We basically practice all week with the mindset of this. We got a 1-game season. We got to, you know, whatever we got to do to get to the playoffs if we can. Practice hard and basically play within ourselves in this game.
Amon Green telling our Joe Arrington we still have some hope. And the Saints, again, barring a tie tomorrow night.
The Saints have marched in. I mean, the Doug Johnson experiment, it worked for the Saints. He hit Sammy Knight for a touchdown. But the Saints offense, they showed great balance today. 23-7, they're going to the playoffs.
San Diego blows a 9-point lead. In fact, they're trying to regain the lead. Carney's kick with 5 minutes to go. Blocked. And it's scooped up by Doug Evans. You know what he says? I am out of here.
And it's the score that changes the ball. I don't think the Panthers played good all day, but a blocked field goal, it's like a 14-point turnaround for you. They win the game.
And the Chargers slumped to now 1-14 on the year. And the NFL and CBS continues in just a moment.
Go marching in. Oh, and the Saints go.
The sports presentation of the NASDAQ.com Halftime Report is sponsored by NASDAQ.com, the information source for the serious investor. Halftime Report is sponsored by NASDAQ.com, the information source for the serious investor.
The Ravens holding you a 3-point lead at the half against the Arizona Cardinals. Don Criqui with Steve Tasker. In the last 49 possessions by their opposition, the Ravens defense has allowed 1 touchdown. None today, but the Cardinals team hanging right in this game.
They really are. The Cardinals defense is playing well. They're pressuring Trent, Dilfer. But the key to this, the whole first half has been the turnovers. But both defensives have stepped up, and the offenses have struggled a little bit. Now, if you look at the highlights, they're all on the defensive side of the ball. You know the Ravens are going to have their share of defensive highlights. It started early. Michael Pittman gets knocked out of the game. That was a fumble that gave the Ravens the ball. And then Jake Plummer picked off by Dwayne Starks. He goes down inside the 5, and the Cardinals hustle over to tackle him inside the 5. You think they're going to give up points, but on the next 2 possession, the Cardinals get it right back. And Pat Tillman makes the pickoff. You know, there's so many times you see, Don, where a team will give up on that, and it comes back to haunt them, but they got the ball right back.
He has a big play by Tillman, and then they got out of jail, aided by a holding call on the defense that got him a first down when they had it 3rd and 10 at their 1-yard line. As we look at the first half numbers, the most significant total yards, the Cardinals with 172 yards offense, just 113 yards offense for Dilfer and the Ravens. 3 turnovers in the game. Dilfer picked off once, and the Cardinals have turned the ball over twice.
Now, Dilfer has not been sharp this first half. He's had the interception, and he's also looked skittish in the pocket. He's gotten hit a couple of times. Jake Plummer has also been hit, but, you know, you kind of get the feeling Jake Plummer's kind of used to it. This is kind of his game. He's broken contained, had a couple of big plays, hit a 56-yard pass to Boston, and their offense is moving the ball on this Raven defense, and a lot of people didn't think they were going to be able to. Everybody except that guy, Jake Plummer.
Well, I think obviously the Cardinals are buoyed by the speculation, very strong speculation, that Dave McGinnis, their popular defensive coordinator, who took over as the interim head coach when Vince Tobin was fired, is going to be back full-time for maybe 4 years. And Cardinals obviously playing like a team that knows where their future is, and that McGinnis is going to be the guy that runs it.
Well, we've seen around the National Football League, Terry Robisky in Washington taking over. His team came out flat. Well, Now Dave McGinnis has got his team, and both these clubs say they want their guy to be in, but the Redskins show up flat, and now the Cardinals, after a slow start under McGinnis, but let's face it, this is a team decimated like no other with injuries. Dave McGinnis has got a lot of guys who want to see him as head coach, and unlike other teams in the National Football League with interim head coaches, they're playing like they want to keep him around.
And I was saying, talking about Robisky and the Redskins, that is not the measure of Robisky's potential as a head coach to judge him off 2 games. Obviously, the team, which was in a tailspin when he took over, I think he should get a long look to continue because the players want to play for him. Here is the return on the kickoff by the Ravens as they take it back out to the 25-yard line, and it's going to be a 22-yard return on the play.
And you see,
Fight for the ball, I think, Steve, down there.
You're exactly right. And you hope that Trent Dilfer's not getting in the mode. You've seen in the last couple of weeks with this Ravens offense where Trent Dilfer has to take some time to get on track. He does it in the second half, but when this team heads to the playoffs, you need to be hitting on all cylinders all the time because your opponent will be hitting on all cylinders all the time.
Corey Harris almost lost the ball in that kickoff return, but the Ravens keep it. Now let's see if they can hit on offense coming out. Here is the rookie runner, Jamal Lewis, taking it to the 31-yard line, and he's quickly taken down by Mark Smith, who's having perhaps his best game of this season at defensive tackle number 93, a guy who was much sought after, who goes into free agency after this year and was in position the big year to be in line for a lot of money. Well, he's playing like the Mark Smith of old today. Very, very impressive game. Second down, long 5. Dilfer changing the play, checking off. Call is made smoothly, professionally. New play set. Dilfer drops, throws downfield, and makes a connection to midfield. Beautifully done by the Ravens offense for a 19-yard gain to super fast Pat Johnson.
And one of the things about this Ravens team, they went out and got some key people in the offseason. This isn't just guys they picked up. Travis Taylor was a key part that they lost because of a broken bone in his shoulder. But Trent Dilfer, Jamal Lewis, Sam Adams, Shannon Sharp, those are guys that, particularly Jamal Lewis and Sam Adams and Shannon Sharp have had Pro Bowl type years.
Shannon Sharp has been a definite leader of the team and came in as the #1 receiver with 58 catches. That was Russell Davis making the stop on Jamal Lewis, guy who had some injury problems at Tennessee, but he's an inside runner with great speed. Jamal Lewis at 235 pounds. Jamal Lewis has been clocked at 4.37. There's Russell Davis, who made the stop, second-year defensive tackle out of North Carolina. Second down, throw, and the ball is caught, but there's actually a loss on the play as Ben Coates, the tight end, got it, then took a load of the former Arizona State Sun Devil, Pat Tillman. Born to hit, they say about Pat.
One of the things that's happening here, the Cardinals are switching back and forth between a 7-man front and an 8-man front. Trent Dilfer comes out on the bootleg, and Ben Coates pulls it in, but he's being covered by Pat Tillman, who's a converted linebacker, now playing safety in the NFL and playing very well. He's kind of a slash guy. He plays safety, but they run so many 8-man fronts. He moves up close to the line of scrimmage and plays like a linebacker a lot of times.
And that was his position at Arizona State. He was a top linebacker for the Sun Devils. Is dropping to throw is Dilfer. Fires, and he comes in low as somebody got a piece of his arm as he was coming forward. And so the Ravens stall on third down after hitting that 19-yard pass to Johnson for a first down.
Yeah, Trent Dilfer thought he had this throw, but you'll watch as Simeon Rice comes around from the backside and just right there gets him and can't get the last little bit on that throw, and it comes up 5 yards short. It's the pressure once again that causes that drive to stall, because that was a completion if Trent Dilfer can get it out of there.
Kyle Richardson ready to punt. Matt Cody is back deep for the Cardinals. Shank ball. Picks a knuckleball off the side of his foot. Richardson, who is one of the lowest per kick averages, but he's very good at placing the ball inside the 20. That time he shanked one.
By the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
The Late afternoon, shadows start to cross the natural grass playing field here at Sun Devil Stadium. Great football stadium. No crown, it's a flat field.
Yeah, it's a sensational place to play a football game. The weather today could not be better.
Tell you, once the heat breaks mid-October, oh man, another lost ball. The Ravens have it. It looks like Jake Plummer might have gotten it back. The turnovers have been critical to the Cardinal effort in this game as they've lost chances. It was a fumble, but it was retained by the Cardinals.
This Ravens defense has been the story. This is where they stand right now in their little quest to be the greatest defense ever, and they're well on their way. They're 48 points away in 2 games, and that they're well within reach, and that's what they're shooting for, and that's why they're staying focused throughout the rest of the season.
Plummer throws, and his receiver, now here's a marker coming in. Field judge from way back fires one in. Frankie Sanders was running the pattern. We'll see if he was interfered with.
Yeah, Robert Bailey got tied up with Sanders at the top of the route, well beyond the 5-yard chuck.
Defensive pass interference. Number 35.
That's what
Spot
they call it.
foul. Automatic first down.
Now we saw this earlier in the game when Corey Harris was tangled up. It was within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. This is well down the field. There's no question that they were tangled up, and as Sanders came out of the route, the contact was made and the ball was right there, and that's why the flag came out.
First down. Plummer. Quick drop, takes a look, lobs a long ball downfield. It could be picked, and it's incomplete as Chris McAllister, the second-year cornerback who played for the Arizona Wildcats, '1 pick of the Ravens in '99, had a play on the ball.
That's right. This is part of this. Look at this. 49% of all their opponents' drives have been 3 plays and out or less, with turnovers and all that's happened. That is phenomenal. A defense that half the time doesn't even let your opponent get a first down.
There is Marvin Lewis, the heralded Marvin Lewis, the architect of this great defense, defensive coordinator for the Ravens. Handoff, Thomas Jones bounces wide. Look at the closing speed of those pursuers.
That's right, and then if you saw the note just after we showed you that graphic, 3 of 6 today have been 3 plays and out. That's unbelievable. Look at that.
Loss of 5 on that play.
It almost sounds like you're overstating it, but man, that's unbelievable to have a team that you only give them half the number of possessions that it normally would get, and you just can't say enough about a team that can do that defensively.
Well, Marvin Lewis, Steve, says about this defense, he said nobody loafs. He said if you're not going 100% or more, don't come back to this huddle. They all go hard. Now it's 3rd down and long, as you see. Plummer with an unusual amount of time. Look at that throw. Beautifully done for a first down as the Cardinals with a 25-yard gainer to Matt Cody. A 5'9" former Canadian Football League standout. Small but so quick, and a guy who'll go into the teeth of a defense makes the play.
Oh, Jake Plummer, we spoke to him yesterday. He said we can move the ball on these guys, and the thing was Jake Plummer's coming in with hurt ribs. You talked to him, you didn't even know if he was going to be able to make it through the game, and then he stands in the pocket, delivers the ball to that guy, Matt Cody, and they are moving this football, and they're doing it very well.
But they have to close the deal still without points. Thomas Jones tries to run, and coming up to make the play on him was McCrary and also Peter Bulware. Everybody can run except the 2 guys that really don't have to, Sam Adams and Tony Siragusa, the tackles.
It is just so tough to move the football on the ground against this team. Siragusa and Sam Adams, they just don't move. You don't get any movement, and you also can't get any of your offensive linemen up into the second level of that front 7 to get blocks on Ray Lewis or Peter Bulwell or Jamie Sharper.
So the Goose lumbering off as the nickel defense is in now on 2nd and long. Here's Plummer making the throw, a timing throw. It's incomplete. Coverage was there, and Plummer had to gun the ball as the heat was on. He was shooting at David Boston.
And David Boston went down in the top of his route and couldn't get out on the break, and that was a place where Jake Plummer had to get rid of the football because the pressure was coming. And today, just under 50% of his passes, but for 173 yards, he's managed to move the football and keep the chains moving, but they have not been able to put the ball in the end zone.
Or through the uprights. Nothing. Nada. Here's a big down now. Third down. Need 12. Plummer timing throw. He gets it. And Sanders is going in. And the Cardinals take the lead. Criqui Sanders with his 6th touchdown, a 27-yard play. That, my friends, was a perfect football play. The defense was there.
They caught the Ravens in a little bit of a gamble. Rod Woodson thinks he might have a pick. You'll see there. He tries to make the pick, and Sanders took the proper angle, and Rod Woodson ended up in front of the receiver and couldn't make the tackle, and Sanders gets into the end zone. Rod Woodson going for the interception, gambling, knew that the Plummer was going to have to get rid of it quick, and gambled and lost.
Now the extra point hit up by Blanchard and good. And the underdog Cardinals rise up and take the lead 7-3. They'll kick off when we come back.
DS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Turning Leaf, it's turning into a very good time for wine. And by Honda, a winning lineup of cars, sport utility vehicles, and minivans.
A major change on the board here in the Valley of the Sun as the Cardinals, with Frank Sanders on the payoff end of a 27-yard Plummer throw, has elevated the Cardinals into the lead over the Ravens, 7-3. Kickoff comes downfield. Corey Harris into the gap, and Harris takes it to about the 29-yard line, where he is taken down, and the Ravens will go on offense there 1st and 10 when we come back. Tillman on the tackle. It's breaking news when a team scores on this Raven defense led by All-Pro number 52 Ray Lewis. First time that they've trailed now, have the Ravens, in 21 quarters. Onus on Dilfer to get the team moving, throwing the ball. Looking on 1st down. Long ball downfield. Separated at the 40 as 3 Cardinals collide with the receiver. Hey, we got guys getting after it here. That's Brandon Stokely, who almost had it. Tillman and Knight converged on him.
And this is the touchdown as Jake Plummer comes out, throws it quick. Rod Woodson knows because of the pressure, he's going to have to get there and try and make the pick. But he's going this way and misses the interception opportunity because of the quickness of the release of Plummer. And Sanders can get into the end zone because of the gap. And Rod Woodson knows that was his play to make and just missed it.
Now to the run, and here is the ace runner, Jamal Lewis, as the Cardinals slam the door on that. So obviously this defense ignited, and guys start up a bit after the whistle as one of the best games of the day from the sheer intensity of it is being played right here.
Yeah, and it's being played by the Cardinal defense. They've stepped up in a big way today. They've gotten better play out of their front four than they have at any point this year. Andre Wadsworth has struggled with a knee injury all year. And there's Joe Green, the defensive line coach of the Cardinals, a guy who's no stranger to what it takes to win in this league, especially defensively.
One of your teammates, Steve, on the All-Century team. You've got some impressive teammates. Another one, Johnny Unitas, is here. Here is Dilfer rolling out. The pursuit, all up, out of bounds, last touched by the quarterback, Dilfer. But Andre Wadsworth, who's been playing on an injured leg this year, shows a burst of speed. There's a loss of 6, and the Ravens have to punt the ball.
This play will tell you all along what's happened to this Cardinal defense. Wadsworth chasing down Dilfer, slapping the ball out. This is a game that they're playing like no other game this year. This defense is rising up. Wadsworth is almost a forgotten year for him this year because of the injuries he's dealt with, and now for the first time playing like he's healthy.
Richardson hits the ball downfield, a low line drive. It'll be returned as Matt Cody wisely protects the ball and takes it ahead to the 43-yard line. Good field position. These Ravens are irate.
Yeah,
long time since they've been behind in a game. At one point in the season, though, the Ravens did lose 3 straight.
CBS is sponsored by Acura. Introducing MDX, taking the SUV to a place it's never been before. And by American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more.
The Ravens find themselves down 7-3. And now the Cardinals have the ball again, positioned at their 44-yard line, first down and 10. Jake Plummer, playing masterfully at quarterback, was picked earlier but did not result in points. There's an out pass, beautifully done to Thomas Jones. And Jones, sure-handed, comes out of the backfield and gets ahead for a gain on the play of about 5 yards.
So Miami is also, he's third on the list, but they're losing to Indianapolis at the moment. That'll put them 10-5. Indianapolis climbs back into it if that continued to 9-6. And you got to feel good if you're the Tennessee Titans today. They won. Baltimore is losing. Oakland lost yesterday.
How do you feel if you're the Jets, losing again and having to go to Baltimore next week? Merry Christmas. Here's a throw and picked off. Jamie Sharper has it on the run. Jake Plummer trying to get him. And they get him down on the field at the 5-yard line. So another critical turnover. A 45-yard return by Jamie Sharper, the fourth-year linebacker out of Virginia.
And that's not Jake Plummer's fault. You'll see here this ball, he'll deliver this ball right where it needs to be, right behind Gedney. Gedney just couldn't pull it away from Sharper as Sharper's down the sidelines. And there's nothing more frustrating for a quarterback than having that happen. You think Gedney's going to come up with it, and Sharper pulls it away.
Third turnover of this day by Arizona. The Ravens have turned it over once. Sharper, maybe the most unheralded defender in this great defense. Had 122 tackles last year, and 10 more on special teams, having another big year as they try to power the ball at the Arizona defense. But Dave McGinnis's D allows just 2 yards to Jamal Lewis. Mao Tosi and Rob Frederickson combined on the stop.
I'll tell you, once again, the Ravens defense has stepped up and pulled its offense out of the fire. Early on in this season, they went 0 for October. Didn't score a touchdown in October. Their defense carried the football team, and once again, they've come to the rescue.
Lewis, not there. He's down to the 2-yard line. As the Arizona defense that ranked near the very bottom is really playing spirited football. Tremendous football by the Arizona Cardinal defense.
And you know, Dave McGinnis is watching his team, hoping against hope that they can hold this team out of the end zone. But when you're down close, as you see there, the lead block by the Pro Bowl fullback Sam Gash. When you can get 2 yards, 2 yards, 2 yards from the 5-yard line, that's a touchdown. And right now, the Ravens are just pounding it ever closer to the end zone.
Joe Green liked to get in there himself on his goal line defense. Third down and goal from a yard out. The Ravens down 7-3. Lewis over the top. Touchdown is signaled by the linesman, and the Ravens take back the lead.
You'll notice, Don, they took the ball out of the hands of Trent Dilfer. I mean, last time they were down there, Trent Dilfer threw the bad pass and caused the interception. They know they've got a franchise guy in the backfield. Forget it. Let's not take any chances. We got a Pro Bowl fullback. We've got one of the best rookie runners in the game. Forget it. Give him the ball and let him score.
Linesman right on time with that call, as you saw. Jamal Lewis go up and over and crack the plane of the goal. And now the point after. Hit up and good by Stover. So the Ravens respond to the go-ahead touchdown by the Cardinals with one of their own. Baltimore kicks off when we come back. Back to Sun Devil Stadium, where the Ravens have come back with a great defensive play by Jamie Sharper that set up the go-ahead touchdown plunge by Jamal Lewis. There is Sharper, number 55.
3 straight runs.
Chase and hit. And here is a kickoff downfield to Marte Jenkins. 10, 20, 25. And there, the Cardinals will go on offense, first down and 10. Friday on CBS, the first witnesses to this murder are human. Can these insects help solve a crime? You have to see it to believe it. Check out an all-new CSI crime scene investigation. That's Friday on CBS. The bugs did it. Jake Plummer, now he's a guy with a lot of fire.
Yeah. Once again, this offense is going to have to answer. They've been able to move the football all day, but it's been their own mistakes that have cost them.
He's going to have to keep making those throws. The last one was picked, but then they're brilliant throw to. Here is a coming out of the backfield, Thomas Jones. He hit Sanders on a 27-yard touchdown play as we go back to Jim Nance in New York. Split it up.
All right, Don, Miami's in the end zone for the first time today. You see it, 4th and 1 from the 8. Watch the effort from Lamar Smith. Face mask call against the Colts. Touchdown stands 20-10 with 2:30 to go third quarter. And let's go back to the desert.
Thank you, Jim. So the Dolphins still in it, albeit in a deep hole on their home field. Second and a long 2. Thomas Jones cutting back, and Jones does a 360 over the top and gets himself a first down in the process. Chris Dishman, the center, blocking beautifully.
You notice whenever the Cardinals are trying to run the football, they're trying to do it outside. They're trying to get out. As you see there, Tony Siragusa pivots. He makes the tackle with his back. He just turns out of the block, spins out, and the runner runs right up his back and gets upended. How about making a tackle without looking?
But Dishman, he kicked out on the tackle and opened the gate. There is Jones again. Thomas Jones has been under fire. Many had him rated as the #1 back in the last draft, the first-round pick. Ravens didn't have him rated #1. They took Jamal Lewis with the 4th pick. Jones, as mentioned earlier, the 7th pick overall. See the overall numbers, passing numbers, pretty dominant for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But the 3 turnovers, Brian Billick told us yesterday, when you're +3 in turnovers, your chances of winning are almost 100%. When you're +2, they're 90%.
The Ravens knew they were going to struggle running the football, so they were prepared for it, and it's played well.
Ravens are +2 in turnovers so far. Here is a throw as Jake had nowhere to go as the Ravens putting the heat on.
There's Marvin Lewis and his defense there.
Talking to Marvin was interesting, Steve. I said, what's the key to having a great defense? He said, #1, staying on your feet.
Yeah.
When you get blocked, you don't go down, you keep moving.
You're exactly right. These guys never get knocked off their feet unless they dive or are trying to make a play. They're virtually, their balance is so good, you can't get them on the ground, and it's tough to get past them when they can reach you.
Plummer with an open backfield now. He has to throw on 3rd down and almost 10. There comes the rush. Plummer makes the throw and comes in high. No markers down. Good defense covering the field and getting the rush also. So Plummer and the Cardinals offense trots off, and the Pro Bowl punter Scott Player comes out. And there is the 9-time Pro Bowler Rod Woodson coming off. Here is a Scott Player. What a story he is.
First-time Pro Bowler.
Looks like a throwback. Looks like a helmet from the 50s.
Yes, he does. He's a great guy. This is a guy that's been around the block, but he's averaging over 38 yards net per punt this year.
He boomed that one. Ravens had a big rush on it. Fumble ball. Dwayne Starks has a problem. Now he's got an open channel. Dwayne Starks turns adversity into a huge return as he's all the way out to the 48-yard line of the Cardinals.
Dwayne Starks making something out of nothing. He made a mistake and muffed the punt when it came down. He knows he's got to pick this up. Watch as it slips right through his hands. He knows right there. He says, uh-oh, I've got to make something happen, and it's all up to him. Picks up some blockers, and all of a sudden he's thinking, man, I might score. And that always happens when you're a coverage guy. I know, Don, when you see something bad happen to your opponent in the middle of the play, there's a tendency to let up, thinking, hey, we got him.
It's a 45-yard punt and a 32-yard return on that broken play. As we look at the current standings of the AFC East.
Still up for grabs over there, and the Jets faltering at the end. But Miami's still atop if they can hang on and come back and beat the Indianapolis Colts.
And in the AFC Central, where the Tennessee Titans look to have home field throughout the AFC playoffs.
That's the battle.
One more win and they do it.
That's exactly right. And Oakland climbs back into it. Denver lost today, wasting the opportunity that Oakland gave them in their loss to Seattle yesterday. Now Denver answers with a loss of their own, and Oakland is back in the driver's seat.
Coming off the field now, a bit shaken up, is James Folston, a starting linebacker.
And there's the game we were just speaking about a moment ago. Indianapolis climbing back into the playoff picture with perhaps a win in Miami.
Dilfer throws. And just as the ball arrives, so does the linebacker, big Johnny Rutledge, who puts the hit on the tight end Shannon Sharp. And it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Ravens. For a complete breakdown of all playoff scenarios, including updates at the conclusion of each game, click on NFL at CBS.sportsline.com. Nobody tells the story better than CBSSportsline.com. Dilfer now 9 of 19 throwing the ball, just 73 yards, no touchdowns. He's been intercepted once. That was in the end zone. Looking long. Here's a throw. Connection. And the receiver, Pat Johnson, makes the catch and then is down at about the 41-yard line. Ravens fighting for the ball. Cardinals think they have it. We'll see what the official says.
Yeah, there was a very late whistle. Patrick Johnson says I was down, but nobody blew the play dead, and now they're going to give him down by contact. There you go. There's a scramble for the ball after the play was over. The ball came out, and as always, there's a fight over it, trying to sell the call and get the ball back for your team.
Third down comes up. And as you see, the Ravens need 2. They go to Brandon Stokely, wide receiver end around, and Brandon Stokely in a rarely used play by the Baltimore Ravens breaks ahead for a 1st down inside the 35-yard line.
This is the moment ago where it was a near fumble. You see he's down there, he's touched, and then the ball pops out, and that's why the scramble for the ball, and that's also, you can see the reason there was no fumble called.
3:25 to play in the 3rd quarter. There is Jamal Lewis, breaks it outside, and Lewis putting on moves. A 235-pound power back with great speed. Runs inside of 4.4 for the 40-yard dash. McKinnon and Tillman get him down.
No, when you get 1st and 10 and all of a sudden you've got 2nd and 7 and just hand it off to him, that's a huge weapon. I mean, that changes everything for your offense, and it also changes everything for your opponent. Now they've got to be thinking this guy's going to get it again.
Well, as we mentioned, Steve, he's been averaging over 28 carries a game the last 4 games, has Jamal Lewis. And he does indeed get it again, and powers ahead for a couple of yards on 2nd down and 4. He's close to the 25.
And that's what happened. The Cardinals thought he was going to get it again, and they came back with an 8-man front, put Pat Tillman from safety up into it, and stopped it for a 2-yard gain instead of 7.
Saturday CBS Sports hoops it up with Joe Forte and the North Carolina Tar Heels going against Jason Capono and the Bruins of UCLA. Or Roy Williams, Kansas Jayhawks, who are a rising team, battle the Buckeyes of Ohio State. It's Saturday on CBS Sports, as now it's 3rd down and 1. Dilfer changes the play. Checks with his lone back, Jamal Lewis. That's who gets the ball. And Lewis drives ahead. I don't know if he got there.
He did not get there.
Linesman comes in. He had to get to the 24.
They just gave him just over the 25-yard line, and now they're going to try and go for the 3 points.
Well, when you got a guy like Stover, I guess you do. Here's a guy that's 2 of 3 50-plus this year.
Yeah, and you can see at this point of the game, they're just handed with a 3-point lead and the defense they have. They're just going to hand him the football and ask him to make some 1st downs. Jamal Lewis taking a pounding, but he got him down into field goal range without much risk of throwing an interception or anything bad happening.
No, he stayed with the run. This will be a 43-yard attempt by Stover, who is 33 of 36 for the season, and now 34 of 37. Matt Stover, a guy who could be in the Hall of Fame someday because of that right leg, gives the Baltimore Ravens a 7-point lead.
The other day they announced the Pro Bowlers for the Baltimore Ravens. You know, that you think all these guys are they kind of clap for their teammates. Ray Lewis is going to get there, and then they say Matt Stover's going to his first Pro Bowl, and they said Matt Stover got the biggest hand from his teammates of anybody.
Well, he leads the NFL in scoring, 129 points. Tonight on CBS, if you saw a reindeer fly with your own eyes, would you believe it? CBS invites you to share in a secret you'll never forget. Richard Thomas and Beau Bridges star in The Christmas Secret. It's tonight on CBS.
Yeah, and we spoke a little while ago that the Ravens were 0 for October in the touchdown department. Well, that means Matt Stover kicked all of Baltimore's points for the month of October. He was responsible for every point the team scored, 42 of them in a month.
I'm sure the 5 little Taskers are preparing for Santa Claus.
Yeah, we're getting geared up for that, that's for sure.
Here's a kickoff downfield. Arte Jenkins straight ahead. It's a good block, and Jenkins, who's averaging 27 yards, a kickoff return, one of the best in the NFL, ran that one back 26 yards before he was tackled by James Trapp. Now it's incumbent on the quarterback, Jake Plummer, to start gunning the ball downfield, because you're not going to go the long field running the ball.
Watch here. If you want to know what it's like to cover a kicker, this is Cornell Brown coming down, and I'm telling you folks, it's a car ride. You get down there, you get messed up, you get 2 guys on you, then you sweep up and the guy runs right into you. And it looks kind of rough and tumble. Let me tell you, Don, there's no more fun play in football than covering a kickoff.
Well, that was your staple. Got you to 7 Pro Bowls. Here is Plummer, pump faking, long ball, up for grabs. Incomplete, almost picked off, shooting at Marte Jenkins. The best success that Plummer's had, Steve, has really been throwing the in slants. The post patterns, the out patterns have been very close to disaster. Well, 2 of them have been picked.
Every time they've gone deep, they've done it with a pump fake, with a stomp move, where they faked a short route and then went long, and this is no exception. Jake Plummer faked like he was going to throw it very short and then lofted it high and long and try and let his receiver make a play, but Starks wouldn't have any of it.
Intimate gathering here in the Valley of the Sun. About 35,000 at the game. We're getting a great new stadium. Well, here's the out pattern, and it comes in low, and that is the catch of the day by David Boston. When you catch a hard-thrown spiral just off your shoe tops, you've got good hands. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Ravens 13, Arizona 7 will return to Tempe after these messages and a word from your local station. The Arizona Cardinals have almost 100 yards more offense today than do the Baltimore Ravens, but those 3 turnovers have been critical.
Well, that's the crucial point, and what's really happened is the Ravens have been able to take advantage of them. 10 points, and they've had a field goal. It's been a war of field goals thus far, except for the big plays defensively, setting up the touchdowns.
3rd down and just over 2. Jake the Snake takes a look. He's on the run, and Plummer dives for the first down out to the 41-yard line. So on 3rd and a long 2, Jake Plummer gets 5, taken down by Ray Lewis. The Colts continue to lead the Dolphins 20-10 as the Colts have eased right back into it. Right back into the playoff picture. Now down by 6. Jake Plummer shuffles the ball. Tough to fool the Ravens defenders. Keith Washington makes the stop. Number 93 is in on the play. Not only are the Ravens good, they're deep.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, they've got everything it takes to have a good defense. They've got great players. They've got a great scheme. They've got great discipline, and they've got great intensity and desire. I mean, and you see a lot of teams try to do some things against them to put them on their heels or catch them overcommitting, and they just never seem to get it done.
Now Jake and the offense of the Cardinals on 2nd down and 9. Deep drop, takes a look, and Jake is swept under. Then a penalty marker comes in. Rob Burnett, if the play goes and he gets the sack, he'll have 8.5 sacks. The guy that the whole team was disappointed that he didn't make the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, they were, and I'll tell you what, Jake Plummer's just glad to be getting up from that play.
He's the dean of the Ravens, as you know, Steve. Rob Burnett, drafted by the Browns in Cleveland back in 1990 out of Syracuse.
And he's had an excellent year for the Ravens. It's tough to get noticed on a great defense because so many guys have to play well for that to happen.
Holding, offense number 70, penalty decline.
Believe it or not, that is the first sack of Jake Plummer today. The Cardinal defense has 4 sacks of Dilfer.
Watch Burnett. He's coming right at his face, and he'll see him at the last minute. Just duck, and it's like they look like tumblers, falling over and flipping each other over their backs.
This is what the Ravens like on defense. All those speed rushers, 4-man rush. Man, a lot. Look at that. Adams come off the ball, but they swing it out, and driving out short of the first down is Thomas Jones, as he had a gap, broke into it, got ahead for a gain of about 4 yards, but they needed more, and it brings up 4th down and 2.
We said a moment ago that this defense is so good because they don't get off their feet. Watch as Jake Plummer does this. He's got 2 blockers up front. Neither one of them goes to the ground. They're both in on the tackle. Both blockers are unable to get the defenders on the ground, and both defenders are in on the tackle. That's why it's a great defense. You can't block them and put them on the ground.
There's Scott Player, a guy happy to be going to Hawaii. The Pro Bowl punter. He booms another one. Asked him what made him such a good punter. He said, I've always kicked the same. I just got a chance to do it more. Wayne Starks has nowhere to go as another good special teams play by the Cardinals. A 48-yard punt and a 7-yard return. 41 net.
It's traveling to more than 1,400.
The Ravens have brought the greatest Colt of them all on the road with him, the great John Unitas, the quarterback of the first-century team of the NFL. I saw John interviewed during the week. I asked him what makes a great quarterback. He said, the fewer mistakes you make, the better your chances of being a winning quarterback. And Dilfer's only made 1 mistake, 1 interception. There's a ball on the field, and the Cardinals have it at the 15-yard line. Jamal Lewis is stripped of the ball. No sooner said, and the Cardinals have their 2nd turnover. Johnny Rutledge, big backer, in his 2nd year out of Florida, makes the play.
Johnny Rutledge is the only guy that has a shot of doing anything on this play. He's pushed out of the way, reaches out, almost blocked past it, gets the ball out. What a great play. It was the only chance he had to make anything happen. He was blocked, but didn't give up. And that's only the 7th fumble that the Ravens have lost this year. That's the lowest in the National Football League. And Johnny Rutledge not only causes it, he recovers it.
In the 4th quarter, still 12-20 to play in the game. You see Jamal Lewis waiting for his next chance to make something happen. But now the Cardinals get their first really big break of this game. Plummer fires, strike, down the middle to the 5-yard line. Terry Hardy, the tight end, is ahead for 10, and he coughs the ball up. So the dilemma of the Cardinals is continuing nonstop. A big play and then a big mistake.
Terry Hardy just got stripped of the football.
They're just not good enough to win.
You saw it a moment ago. They stripped it from us. We'll strip it from them. Jamie Sharper just pulls it out of his arm. Watch here. It just comes in. He knows. You can see him. It's in his mind the entire way. He chases him down, just pulls it out.
That's the irony of this game. You got the 29th ranked defense against the number 1 ranked defense. The Arizona defense statistically has outplayed the Ravens. But it's the offense by the Cardinals and their 4 turnovers has been a killer. Here is Lewis looking to go wide, and he does, and Jamal Lewis breaks it into open field and gets ahead on 1st down for a gain of 14 yards and a 1st down.
The Cardinals, when they get down close, they've gotten down there twice and have gotten nothing and have turned it over both times.
Russell Davis and the omnipresent Pat Tillman combined on that tackle.
If you turn it over in the red zone, turnovers are bad enough, but you get down there and turn it over, you can't win. You cannot win.
They keep fighting back, though, these Cardinals. As you're sure the Ravens are going to probably look to run some clock and get the ball in the hands of Lewis again. Jamal Lewis taking on tacklers, powering his way, running with a vengeance after that fumble. But no harm done as they got the ball back on the following play. A 10-yard gain for Jamal Lewis. They're going to spot him just short of the first down. They're going to give him 9 where they spot the ball. A first down run of 9 yards.
Yeah, he's run hard all day, but you can tell there's just a little bit more attitude in what he's doing now. After that last fumble on the screen pass 3 plays ago, he came back in and snapped off 23 yards worth of runs in 2 carries.
Second down and 1. Lewis. First down. Ravens drive on, getting the ball to the 34-yard line. There's only one way to see all the action on the field. You need to be inside the Monster.com blimp. The Monster.com blimp is providing us with these live shots. This is one of Monster.com's 2 blimps. This blimp is Skeeter and is based in the West Coast.
You think about this offense of the Ravens, Don. Nothing good has happened for them all day in the air. Everything good has been Jamal Lewis. We may not see Trent Dilfer throw the football again, except now that Jamal Lewis is out of the game, you might.
Well, he's only thrown for 77 yards. No touchdowns, 1 interception. Dilfer can count the house. Gets it outside, and Priest Holmes is taken down for a loss on the play. Rob Fredrickson, number 59, a linebacker in his 7th year out of Michigan State, makes an enormous play, a 6-yard tackle loss.
And this is one of those unusual plays where you complete a pass right to where you're supposed to, and you lose 6 yards. You complete too many of those, and you're going to be backed up in your own end zone.
Fredrickson, a former Raider. See Trent Dilfer. To that first drive, really not much happening. Here is the handoff, and they go again to Priest Holmes, and he runs on 2nd down and long yardage, 2nd and 18, and gets ahead for a gain on the play of about 5. McKinnon on the stop, and the clock continues to run.
Now they're in the exact position that has given them all kinds of problems today, which it gives every team, 3rd and long. Jamal Lewis was taken out of the game on that series. Priest Holmes has been in. They haven't run the football. They've been throwing the football. Now all of a sudden, instead of 1st and 10, it's 3rd and 12.
And the Ravens now come up to 3rd down and 12, almost 13. Dilfer stands in, takes a look. He's on the run. He's got a channel to run if he chooses it. And he does, and he's going to be taken down well short of where he needed to go. And again, Rob Fredrickson, who grades out so well in this really forgotten season of the Cardinals, makes another play. 3 yards was all he gained.
That's right. Rob Fredrickson is a guy who's one of the rare guys who stays on the field every play. And watch Dilfer. He comes out. He hesitates. We think he's going to throw it right there. He all thought about throwing it. But you know what? I think Trent Dilfer knows, don't make a mistake. He wasn't going to force the football. Just punt it and get it out of here.
Here's the punt. Hit downfield. Matt Cody takes a look. Gets a block. Turns to the outside, and Matt Cody has an open track for a moment and then is run out of bounds at the 39-yard line. A 42-yard punt and a 13-yard return. The tackle by Cornell Brown.
On CBS is sponsored by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper makes the world taste better. Pennzoil with Pure Base. Protection so strong you can see the difference. And by FedEx, the official worldwide delivery service of the NFL.
This is Don Criqui with Steve Tasker. Lights are on at Sun Devil Stadium. The Cardinals down to the heavily favored Baltimore Ravens by 6 points. First down and 10 for Jake Plummer, and he hands off to Thomas Jones. And Jones, who runs low, at shifting running style, and he gets ahead for a gain of about 8. Christmas Eve, the NFL on CBS ties a bow on the regular season and gets you set for the playoffs with single header action. In one match, Ray Lewis and these Ravens take on Curtis Martin and the Jets, while Donovan McNabb and the playoff-bound Eagles take on the Bengals, or the Steelers go against the Chargers. Check local listings beginning with Jim, Randy, Craig, Jerry, Mike, and Marcus on the NFL Today. Second down and a long 2 for the Arizona Cardinals. Back to Jones. He's got a gap, and Jones is ahead for a first down. Big block by the fullback, Dennis McKinley, a 250-pound blocker from Mississippi State. Some key matchups next week. San Francisco at Denver. Denver gave back, lost its service. Had the leg up on the Raiders after they were beaten at Seattle, and then Denver loses today at Kansas City. Jets at Baltimore, Miami at New England.
All those are key. And the playoffs will be decided, obviously, all next week. It's going to be worth watching.
1st and 10. Here's Plummer. Swings it out nicely. Thomas Jones tightropes the sidelines, and Jones, who's been under fire here as an underproducer, looks like everything they expected when he came out as the 7th pick in the 1st round. Ray Lewis gets him down, but he does it 8 yards downfield. It's a 1st down for the Cardinals.
Now they're going to say that he stepped out of bounds outside the 40-yard line.
So it's going to make it 2nd down and 2.
Yeah, you're right, Don. He's struggled with illness, has Jones, and has not been as productive as they'd hoped he would be. And now with Michael Pittman, who suffered a concussion early in this ball game, he's had a chance to come in and be a factor.
One of the reasons such a high draft choice, he never missed a game or a practice at Virginia in 4 years. Here's the throw, and the ball is bobbled and incomplete. David Boston, the leading receiver for the Arizona Cardinals, can't hold on. 3rd and short comes up. 3rd and 2.
Jake Plummer, this is the thing. He throws the ball on time. That ball is there. A quarterback wants his receiver to catch it. Yeah, it would have been a great catch, reaching out to extend for it. But you got to think that your quarterback wants you to make those. And you see that? He throws the ball, still gets a little bit of contact.
Great second look. The executive producers of the NFL on CBS are Sean McManus and Terry Ewert. Today's game produced by Jim Rickoff, directed by Kathy Barretto. And another throw by Plummer is to Thomas Jones. He breaks the tackle, and Jones works the sideline. Down inside the 30-yard line. A gain of 11 yards on the play.
And you get the idea that right now, it's just beginning to dawn on the Cardinals that they're a touchdown away from winning this game. A touchdown, an extra point, hopes for. And he struggled, as we say, struggled a little bit this year. But today, here late in the season, getting an opportunity and really making the most of it. He's been a bright spot.
Plummer now 20 of 38, Steve, throwing the ball for 247 yards. Another throw, another catch. And it's down to the 20-yard line as Frankie Sanders, who you'll recall was on the payoff end of that 27-yard scoring play for the Cardinals' only touchdown today, makes that play ahead for a gain of 9.
And if you look at the Ravens defense, they're all standing with their hands on their hips. Their intensity seems to have been sucked out of them. They don't like the fact that the Cardinals are moving up and down the football field. Yeah, they've only given up 6 points, but the Cardinals have played very effectively on offense.
Well, today the Cardinals have 296 yards total offense against the #1 defense, and the Ravens on offense have just 183 total yards.
And they're come up 6 inches short of the 1st down on that play, and Jake Plummer on the sidelines talking it over. And let's face it, they went for it on 4th down earlier today from that distance and couldn't get it. As you see Mark Trestman there trying to look down the list and find a play to get him 6 inches on 2nd down. This is sometimes a down. If you're confident you can get it, sometimes you take a shot here. Go for the end zone.
Well, they've hit from down in this area, even a little bit deeper out of that one scoring play. 2nd down. And very short. 2nd and less than 1. And there is Thomas Jones working close, but doesn't look like he got there. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS in the game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Arizona Cardinals. I'm Don Criqui along with Steve Tasker. The score is the Ravens 13, the Cardinals 7. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast. Ryan Billick and his counterpart, Dave McGinnis, one an offensive expert, the other an expert of defense. And ironically, the offensive expert has maybe the #1 defense in NFL history, but not today. Ravens defense has been outplayed by the Cardinals defense. Thomas Jones drives on 3rd and short, and he has a 1st down.
I said a moment ago, if you're confident you can pick it up, you'd maybe take a shot at the end zone, but the Cardinals have already been stopped short once today. They said, you know, we'll take 2 shots at that 6 inches. on 2nd and 1, and it took them 2 shots to get the first down.
There's really, Steve, been a total transformation of this Arizona Cardinal team today. This is a team with 5 straight losses. In the recent weeks, they haven't even been in the game. And here they are today, standing tall against the Baltimore Ravens. All these turnovers. They've turned it over 3 times, but now so has turned it over 4 times, actually, had the Cardinals. Well, the Ravens have turned it over twice. Plummer steps in, dumps it off. Thomas Jones. And he weaves his way ahead on a 1st and 10 play down close to the 13-yard line. Siragusa and Boulware get him down. But Thomas Jones is getting a big shot today because the starter, Michael Pittman, went out early with when he was knocked out cold for 4 minutes. A play where he was hit and fumbled the ball in this area of the field.
That's what's the problem. Has been the problem the entire day. They've gotten down here and turned it over.
Markers now fired in on a 2nd down and 5 play.
False start on the quarterback, number 16.
Got Jake the Snake for the false start. That's unusual.
That's tough to do as a quarterback. But one of the things you'll notice they're doing with Thomas Jones is they don't think they can run the football that effectively. They came in here thinking they would have trouble doing that, but what they're doing is making pass plays, just long handoffs. They're throwing it to their backs an awful lot out in space and hoping that the back can make one guy miss and get an effective 5 yards on 1st down, and it's worked.
Jake must have been going with that hard count, Steve, bobbing his head. They will call it on you. I think it's a false start on part of the quarterback. Here is Plummer. Pitches it ahead. Was it a pitch or a fumble? Let's see. It is the Ravens' ball. The Cardinals, time after time. And yet their defense comes out and makes plays and gets the ball back. But now there's just 2:32 left to play. 5 turnovers by the Arizona defense.
And that is a fumble. His arm was knocked. He tried to shovel it, but he was hit from behind. And the ball popped out for the 3rd time in the red zone today.
They are reviewing the play. Here comes referee Larry Nemmers over to see if perhaps they did try that shuffle play twice earlier in the game, the shuffle pass.
It looked like Plummer thought about pushing the ball forward. It'll come down to the fact, do they think he did it purposely or whether Boulware knocked it through.
He's looking to push it.
Yeah, it looked like he was pushing it, but it looked like the ball was loose before he flipped it with his hand. This is going to be a judgment call. Watch, you see there? And there's
the guy didn't knock it forward.
Right,
the defender.
You're exactly right. And you saw a flash. He was trying to flip it to a Cardinal player.
Bailey.
Watch, coming from your right to left. There's a guy right there. He's trying to flip it to him.
His wrist,
right there.
Right wrist
he's trying to
flip
forward. Yeah, he's trying to flip it to David Boston right there.
His right wrist flicked the ball forward. Now, whether or not they ruled it, but the Boulware making a very good play.
Well, this is without question the most important referee's act in the game today. This is going to mean the difference between whether the Cardinals have a shot at winning this game or not. Larry Nemmers in there trying to, and once he sticks his head in there, he's got 90 seconds to get it done. Jake Plummer, you can see it easily on the replay. He's trying to flip this to David Boston. The question is, does Peter Boulware knock it loose?
I think the key here is that his right wrist was flicking the ball forward.
That is so close.
If you look at it in slow motion, his right wrist is flicking the ball.
I think you're right. I think he's flipping it. Yeah, I think he's flipping it forward. I think you give him an incomplete pass on that.
But it has to be irrefutable evidence to overturn the call on the field, which was a fumble recovery.
You rarely see. I mean, I think it's going to come down to Larry Nemmers and his judgment. Does he see that as irrefutable evidence? Because I think there's no question that that's the intent in Plummer's mind. If I can just play psychologist for a minute.
Go right ahead,
But that's you see it. I mean, that's a common play in the National Football League. The quarterback will flick it to a receiver running across on a short route just to get rid of it. And the question is, does the ball leave his hand before Boulware knocks it out? But the ball's moving. I think you got to give him this as a forward pass.
Look at his arm. He's pushing it out.
Yeah, I think that's
Well,
I think
no
that's a
question it
pass.
is.
I think it's a forward pass.
He was not hitting it from behind, of course, but how did the ball, how was it propelled forward if he didn't flick it?
Exactly. I don't know. Watch Bull. I don't even know if he's actually. You see, he hits the back of his hand, but he's flicking the ball the same motion. Now, if that was in the pocket, I think they would certainly call it an incomplete pass. But because he's running forward with it, I think, you know, the dynamics change a little bit, but I still think it should be called by the same rule. It should be an incomplete pass, not a fumble. And we're getting to the point where the machine's going to turn off in a minute, and Larry Nemmers is going to have to make up his mind with what he's seen.
Well, it could be the game decided. Here comes official Nemmers. It's not an easy job. He's got to make the call, and we'll all learn together, as will coaches Billick and McGinnis.
After reviewing the play, the quarterback was shuffling a pass forward prior to the fumble.
There it is.
Yeah. I think it was pretty apparent.
Third down at the previous spot.
I think they got it right. I think they got it right. And there's Dave McGinnis gets one back for his team, and he gets one more look at it there. You see he's trying to get it, and you'll see also in slow motion as the ball comes out, there's David Boston running across in front of him, the intended receiver. So there's no question.
Yeah, his arm, his hand flicks forward.
Because also Boulware was swatting the ball towards his body, not away from his body. So it's obviously Plummer's momentum and his movement caused the ball to go forward.
But this is no easy scenario now that unfolds for the Arizona Cardinals. They have 3rd down and 11 coming up against the #1 defense in the NFL.
And it's really 4-down territory, so they'll treat it like it's 2nd down because they've got to get a touchdown.
Boston's on the right flank. Sanders on the left. Here is Plummer. Dumps it off. Thomas Jones putting on moves. He gets some yards, but it's well short of a 1st down. On 3rd down and almost 11, he got ahead for a gain of about 5. So it's 4th down. And the Cardinals' chances rest indeed on this next play with 2:16 left to go. They can't risk trying to get the ball back if they kick a field goal. And 60 minutes coming up next, except on the West Coast, where it'll be seen in its regularly scheduled time.
And they're doing a smart thing. The Cardinals are going to let it run down to the 2-minute warning, not take a timeout, just talk it over. It's a crucial moment.
So the heat's on in the Valley of the Sun when we come back.
RCA Victor. Do not try to adjust the picture.
Color TV.
There is nothing wrong with your TV. A new form of television is here. High definition. Up to 6 times sharper than current analog technology. The people who brought you TV, the color TV, and digital satellite TV welcome you to HD TV. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your television. We've just made a better one.
I can't do anything without the instructions. Nothing.
It's okay. She's got other presents.
They were just here. They're right here. I just had them.
We'll just hide this till her birthday.
She's been wanting this for a long time. If I only had those instructions.
You looked in the box?
I looked in there.
Did you take everything out of it?
Oh, here they are.
Postmortem insects will tell me when she was killed.
CSI has seen some strange cases before.
Pigs in a blanket. It's an experiment.
You think we're a couple of science nerds?
But never one as bizarre as this.
The worms go in, the worms go out.
All new CSI, CBS Friday.
Coach Billick being heard during the timeout, talking to referee Larry Nemmers.
He doesn't like what he's hearing either.
Well, if he saw the replay, I think he'd have a hard time refuting it.
Yeah, I think he doesn't think there was anybody to throw to anyway, but the replay clearly showed that there was.
Well, here we come now to the game, really. 4th down. The Cardinals need 5. And how about a swing pass to number 26, Thomas Jones? We'll see. He's aligned as the lone back, offset to the left, top of your screen. There's the throw. It's slapped down by the Ravens. So the greatest defense in football makes the play it had to make. And on 4th down and 5, the Cardinals are stopped. And the Ravens take over the ball with 1:57 left to play.
This is Fred. Let's pretend Fred is a file on your computer.
On CBS is sponsored by iOmega, makers of the new Hip Zip photo show and the award-winning line of Zip products. And by Charles Schwab. When we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we also created a smarter kind of investor.
Festivus, that's what the code word for the playoffs. Festivus Maximus being the code word for the Super Bowl in the Ravens camp. And now they go to the run. Jamal Lewis runs the ball. Each team with its full complement of timeouts. And now the Cardinals down to 2 timeouts as they stop the clock with 1:50 to play in the game. The Baltimore Ravens, with only 37 net passing yards, still lead the game 13-7. Tonight on 60 Minutes, if you love the people Tom Hanks plays in the movies, wait until you see him playing himself, an early Christmas present from 60 Minutes. Tonight, followed by an all-new episode of Touched by an Angel. Then Emmy Award winners Richard Thomas and Bo Bridges star in the heartwarming new holiday movie, The Christmas Secret. Don't miss it tonight on CBS. 2nd down and 3, handoff, and Jamal Lewis bulls his way ahead and drives for a 1st down as the Cardinals use their 2nd timeout, just 1 left. So the Ravens here, Steve, really in position to run out the clock.
That's exactly right, and it's important for them because they've got to keep pace with Tennessee in the AFC playoff race. Now, Tennessee is ahead of them by a game with a 12-3 record. Baltimore will go to 11-4 with this win today, but Baltimore has the tiebreaker with Tennessee. If they finish with identical records, Baltimore wins the division, and therefore, obviously, the all-crucial bye week in the 1st round of the playoffs.
Will not happen. Tennessee has to lose to Dallas at home next week.
That's right. Baltimore hosts the Jets in Baltimore, and that'll be a playoff atmosphere.
They're going to finish 12-4, I think.
Yeah.
But Tennessee's going to be 13-3.
Yeah, they're going to finish 12-4 and be a wild card. Much like Tennessee last year, finishing 13-3, 2nd to Jacksonville at 14-2. You have a great season, only to finish 2nd.
And Brian Billick thinks he could be faced with a short turnaround. He thinks they could go from the Sunday the 24th game against the Jets right to a December 31st Saturday wild card game.
That's exactly right.
Hey, but they're in the playoffs. They've had a great year, and it's a long way from over because they have a chance to win the Super Bowl. Tennessee and the Ravens, both teams that can win on the road. The Ravens will be 6-2 on the road. To win a Super Bowl, you've got to win on the road because it's played on the road.
And this is a team that travels well. You know, Trent Dilfer, the defense showed it today. Trent Dilfer did not have a good day at all. As you mentioned, they've got like 37 yards net passing, but their defense will travel.
The NFC playoff picture. The Vikings at 11-4, the Giants 10-4, pending the outcome of a matchup with the Dallas Cowboys. New Orleans, what a year. They still haven't clinched a playoff spot, though. Philadelphia's already won. Philadelphia's in the bye week. In a game many of you will see on CBS, the Eagles will be at home against the Cincinnati Bengals next Sunday.
It's interesting that the Giants have not clinched a playoff spot, but could still win the division.
This has been one of the really best years.
Oh, there's no question about it.
I mean, you don't know what's going to playoff matchup is going to be yet.
The balance is absolutely phenomenal.
1:34 left to play. Cardinals are out of timeouts. 2nd down to Jamal Lewis. Work in the middle, not much there. Cardinals make the stop, but now they're powerless to stop the clock. The Colts have done it again. After the Monday night win, they go to Miami and they beat the Dolphins 20-13.
And they were buoyed by the fact that the Jets lost today and kept their hopes alive. So many teams have not been able to capitalize. We saw Denver lose today, blowing an opportunity that the Oakland loss gave them yesterday. You know, and these teams come out, there's so much to play for and so little time to prepare, so little time for it to make a difference.
But the Cardinals could have won this game. The underdog could have taken it, but the turnovers killed them, and the turnovers had a lot to do with the best defense in football. And now Jamal Lewis puts on another first down run out to the 45-yard line. A 3rd down and 4. He's ahead for 15 yards.
And with that, the Baltimore Ravens will be able to kneel on the football and end this game.
But the 5 Arizona turnovers were critical, 2 of them in the red zone. After they got the turnover from the Ravens, the first play, a 10-yard throw to the tight end Hardy. First down, and he coughs it up, and it's right back in the Ravens' hands.
And that was the last chance they had. It was inside 3 minutes to go in the football game, and they turned it over down close when they were less than a touchdown down. Unbelievable.
So if the Ravens give up 41 or fewer points next week to the Jets, they'll set a 16-game record for fewest points ever. Now for Steve Tasker, this is Don Criqui saying so long from Tempe, Arizona, where the final score is the Ravens 13 and the Cardinals 7. Tonight on CBS at 60 Minutes, followed by Touched by an Angel, then the Sunday night movie, The Christmas Secret. It's all here tonight on CBS. Glad you could be with us. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 35. Ravens roll on.
Happy holidays to you again from us here on NFL Sunday Ticket. I'm Scott Lasky, and I'll fill you in on everything from around the National Football League with scores, stats, today's top performers, and the playoff picture right after this short 30-second break.
Have you ever lied to have sex?
Once, but I was alone at the time.
2,000 years ago, a certain man was killed. If that man wasn't killed, you wouldn't have a religion, huh?
Jesus.
Oh, you know the case, huh?
All I know for sure is love can make you do crazy things. And if God loves us, well, you know, that would explain a lot. And when things get really crazy, sometimes we just need a hand.
This month on Direct Ticket Pay-Per-View on DirecTV.
So, NFL Sunday Ticket has put their stamp on yet another football Sunday. Today's action had a feverish pace to it, with several teams fighting for their playoff lives and others with determined pride. Tonight and tomorrow's night's game should be no different, so we'll allow you about an hour to spend some quality time with the family, and then it's right back to that easy recliner to watch ESPN Sunday Night Football, where the Giants can clinch a playoff berth, claim the NFC East title, and have the inside track to home field advantage throughout the playoffs if they can overwhelm their bitter rival, the Cowboys, down in Big D. Then tomorrow, there's a playoff spot available when the Rams battle the Bucs on ABC's Monday Night Football. St. Louis' Kurt Warner has recaptured his magic touch, while Tampa Bay's chances ride on the legs of Warrick Dunn. There's no room for error this Monday night. Well, we begin today's recap with the Falcons and the Saints. They're no longer the Aints. In fact, you should leave the S and know that a W means almost a sure chance at the second season, known as the playoffs. Let's go to the scoreboard. The fairy tale campaign continues for the Saints. Terry, don't call me Tinker Bell Allen, rumbles for 82 yards and a score. It's almost official. No tie tomorrow night between the Rams and Bucs, and New Orleans is postseason bound. Detroit motors into New York and drives away with a win. The Lions' only touchdown comes on a Jeff Harding recovery in the end zone off a James Stewart fumble. In a blizzard, the Pats dropped the Bills in OT 13-10, although last year, also in Week 16, the Bills beat the Pats 13-10 in overtime. Carolina gets 2 special teams touchdowns in their victory. Other scores, how about this one? In Minnesota, Green Bay keeps its playoff hopes alive with a shocking 33-28 decision. Ahman Green rushes for a career-high 161 yards plus a score. No surprise here in Cleveland. Tennessee